D-Lo, KC, D-Lo, KC, D-Lo, KC, D-Lo. We your number one spot.
Let's go, baby. Come on, man. Come on. Where y'all at? Let's go. Vibe check, baby. Air horns for the insiders. Let's go. We in here. Yes, sir. Shout out to the big homie James Ham right there. Hell of a show right there from our guys, James Ham and Kyle Matson. Kyle was adamant. We all got to get a picture in front of the Odyssey sign. So you guys got to hang out for like 13 minutes because it turns out this show turnover, it's going to be a little snug.
It's quick. It's quick.
It's going to be a little snug. See, we're used to getting in here like 10 o'clock, having everything set up, putting our feet up, kicking it, doing our thing. And now it's like, no, we got to come running in at 11:55 because the crew's got business to handle.
Come in running in like who? That wasn't Apollo Crews. Who was the guy that stumbled?
Titus O'Neil. come running in like Titus O'Neil in Saudi Arabia, boy. Come on, man. What's up? One more time for the insiders. Let's go.
Yes, indeed. Monumental moment for the station, man. I was, I had a couple feels as they hit the air. I was like, man, this is huge for the station, man. It's a moment.
It was big. It was big. Pause. I'm Damian Barling.
I'm in God mode.
One more time.
The ultimate needle mover in God mode himself.
You know what it is. He's Kenny Caraway.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledge me.
And we are so happy that you are here with us. Of course, the Chatty House live stream now opening up every day at 10 o'clock. Make your plans to be with James and Kyle. Lots of things you could do there. You could hit the notification on YouTube. There's a bell in the upper right-hand corner. If you're listening on the Odyssey app, there's a bell in the upper right-hand corner that you can hit that notifies you when the Insiders goes live every day. It'll be at 10 o'clock. Or when Dealing with KC go live every day, it'll be 12 o'clock. But just more programming for you as we head into the first week of the NFL season.
Can I say real quick?
Say whatever you want to.
NFL did this all wrong.
Explain.
They should have had week 1 this weekend. Now, this is something that used to happen back when we were kids. Now that they start school, I don't know, every week of the year, like it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
But back when we were kids, week 1 was Labor Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Monday Night Football was on that Labor Day, and we were like, that was the last thing as I got ready for the first day of school was Monday Night Football was on. Now they pushed it back a week, and week 1 of the NFL season should have been this past weekend, and college football's week 1 should have been the weekend before.
Okay.
My thoughts. Welcome to my TED Talk.
I mean, I'm with it.
I mean, you get the week 1. It seems like it could be a big celebration, right? Like week 1 is Labor Day weekend. You get the extra day, to talk about Sunday's games, and then everybody's off to watch Monday's. Like this, that's how it should be.
I got you, but aren't there like other things people want to do on Labor Day besides be bogged down with 12 hours of football?
Not really. This ain't Memorial Day.
I mean, I sat at home, but that doesn't mean everybody else wants to sit at home.
Come on, man. It's not Memorial Day weekend. Labor Day is not Memorial Day weekend. Labor Day is actually like a sad weekend. Like summer's over. It's a sad weekend.
Okay. All right. Well,
Memorial Day is exciting. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
We're here. Also, RIP to all the veterans, Memorial Day weekend. But everybody's like, summer's here. We done made it. Let's go.
Well, what's Labor Day then?
Labor Day.
RIP to all us suckers who go to work 5 days a week and only get 2 days off, and we're celebrating because they give us one extra day off. I'm telling you, the Players Union for our working association is trash.
Terrible.
It's worse than the NFL.
Terrible.
Way worse than the NFL.
We I think President Obama had like a Labor Day message, like thanks to all the laborers across the country. So I think that's what Labor Day is for. But it really just signifies back to school.
Isn't that all of us? Isn't that everybody with a job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Back to school.
No, here's an extra day
Summer's
off.
Over.
Here's an extra day off for you to celebrate. Also, your favorite season's over.
Yeah.
When you think about it, this whole thing's a work.
That's what I'm saying.
This whole thing's a work.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they need to put week 1 on there. because there was some good like college football did their job. Like it was fun watching college on four
fun.
straight days.
It was fun.
It was good stuff.
Man. I was so confused as to what day of the week it was. Like I went through virtually all of Sunday thinking it was Saturday. And part of that was I was watching a college football game.
Yeah.
I was thrown. Like I lost a whole day.
Damn.
I just was confused. I absolutely thought I think it's because Friday was like I was here Friday, even though I wasn't on the air. Like I was here Friday, and Friday was getting to San Francisco was a monster.
Oh, do you want to talk about that now?
Oh, we could do that. Oh, we could do that. Let me tell y'all right now. This was my first trip. This was my first trip to the Chase Center. Kenny Caraway was not exaggerating. That place sucks. It is awful, like dreadfully awful. Like, who designed this? It's like narrow. There's like hallway. It is the stupidest building I've ever been in.
They thought I was playing when I said it's a dental office or a hotel lobby. That's exactly what it's like.
You walk in and we're headed down to the seats, and it's like, okay, like you're the concourse, the bowl is completely blocked off.
That's what I'm saying. You walk in, you like you said, you give them your tickets, you're like, I'm here.
Yes.
And you look at a wall.
You're no vibes. No vibes. It's like, oh, here's like a mock Picasso hanging up. What the hell I want to do that for? Then they're directing you to this certain place when you leave. Like, you could go over here. Hey, again, it's nice trash.
Mm-hmm.
It's new. The where were we at? The Chase Lounge, the Chase Club, the Chase something. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. But the design, go upstairs. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, ma'am, where's the exit? Walk down this hallway, turn left. Why do you guys have hallways? It's a freaking arena. Bust these walls down and let us see the floor.
Break the walls down.
Bro, I cannot stress this enough. The dental office sucks. The Chase Center, Kenny was not exaggerating. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't Little Warriors funny ha-ha rivalry. The Chase Center is absolute ass. It's awful. And the person who designed that should be banned from designing anything ever again. It has no feel. Hey, the crowd was jumping. LL Cool J, The Roots, Ice-T, Salt and Pepper,
we talked
Slick
about,
Rick,
we
Dougie Fresh.
Earlier. You didn't mention Big Boy. Big Boy wasn't there?
I don't think Big Boy wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
Big Boy didn't make his way out. No, he was the only name that was on that flyer that we read one day. That he wasn't there. I know he had been at shows at the past. Shout out Ramsey. Shout out Katrina. They were in the building.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, no, they killed it. Arena was packed. Of course, everyone erupted when E40 walked out. And 3 hours nonstop hip hop celebration. Flawless show. One of the greatest shows I've ever been to. No cap. One of the greatest shows I've ever been to.
Good stuff.
In the sorriest arena I've ever stepped foot in.
So let me ask you this too. I haven't been there since pre-pandemic. It was like literally 2019. Did they like? It was still relatively new. I gave them some time to get some things together, but at the time they didn't have any like punch bowl or sauce.
No, they have that. Yeah,
so they got that now.
Yeah, it's not Doco. The only bad thing about Doco is the name. Downtown Commons is stupid. Well, Doco is dumber.
It's nothing wrong.
No, but Thrive City, like fine. There's some cool restaurants in there. There's great. There's not enough, but there's enough in the area to be around. I enjoyed it. We had original plans to. Kenny had called in a favor, and I got his table at Maestro, but it was like 2 miles away, and I was like, let's just hang here in the Thrive City area and just kind of hang around in downtown San Francisco. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's on the water.
Yeah,
like everything.
Like I said, they spent $1 billion on it. It's going to look nice.
There's
going to be nice and clean things about it for sure.
Is beautiful.
Just got no vibes.
None.
No vibes.
Yo, What section are you? Section 102. It's going to take you 45 minutes to find it. Because walk down this hallway, turn a left, take an escalator up, walk down, then you got to take the escalator down. It's all hallways. You're not going to be able to, God forbid, you got to go to the bathroom during the show. You ain't going to be able to hear or see nothing. It's like they put up these soundproof walls so you can't enjoy anything. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. You know what? It feels like that arena feels like a Warriors fans. It's a snotty ass arena. That's what it is. It is a snotty ass venue. It's really nice. It's all uppity.
It's a hotel lobby.
It's trash.
It's a hotel lobby.
Absolute trash. Shameful.
They could have done a whole lot better. Meanwhile, I was in Doco last night. I mean, vibes everywhere.
Vibes everywhere.
As 50 and Busta Rhymes and Jeremiah were in the vibes everywhere. You walk in there, vibes as soon as you walk in there. It's phenomenal. Go to One Center. It's easily a top 3 arena in the NBA. It might be the best. I may be partial. I may be biased, but it might be the best.
I haven't been to all of them. I haven't been to the new Atlanta joint. There's quite a few I haven't been to.
Orlando's dope. Kamara can tell us about that.
Yep.
Milwaukee. People say Milwaukee's dope too.
But, Golden One Center is it. I could tell you this. Golden One Center is it in California.
Aldrin said Staples is
Staples isn't hot.
No,
don't do that.
I don't think it's better than Golden One.
Staples isn't hot though.
I went to a nice spot in Staples.
Well, of course, everywhere you go is a nice spot. We know how you roll. But for common people like us, it's not always nice. I don't like the Staples Center. They've done a good job.
That and the dental office.
They've done a good job of building it out,
and that's not a good thing for
because LA Live wasn't always there.
LA Live is fire, but it's a tie between that and the dental office, and that's not a good sign for the dental office.
No, it's not,
because Staples is like 25 years old.
Terrible. I can't. I walked in and I was like, oh, and I'm like, okay, get out of this main area. Like, they got a Mercedes up there. You could win the Mercedes. It's like in the arena. I don't know how they got it there, but it's there. It's like, all right, like, which way do we go? And like walking, oh, let's go this way. Bro, it dead ended. The concourse dead ended. Like, how?
Yeah, it does.
How? Like, you're on the main concourse when you walk in and you walk to the left, dead end. What concourse hits a dead end?
How embarrassing.
Like, what is this? Like, all right, turn around, walk the other way. Oh, yeah. Oh, welcome, sir. Oh, you got to take the stairs here. Like, bro, this is awful. Oh my God. I cannot stress this enough. If you've never been to the Chase Center, it's gorgeous. Good God, that place sucks. Just terrible. Sir, you did not exaggerate one bit when you described that place. Absolutely awful.
Dr. Olszewski, will see you now, sir.
Where the hell is Dr. Bosa? That's what I want to know. Panic level starting to.
There's a lot going on. I got to talk about it because there's a lot going on. I want to know your thoughts about it. I got some thoughts about it. I want to know people's thoughts about it because there's a lot here. I don't think it's as cut and dry as it's this fall, that fall. There's a lot here.
Let's come back. Steelo and KC here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. All right, let's guys, we need 1 second. We gotta grab a pick out front real quick. Give us 1 second, guys. We need 1 second.
Man, I gotta come all the way off of this.
Hang on, guys. 1 second, 1 second. Be right back. Don't go nowhere. Please don't go nowhere. Be right there. Switch out the glasses. It's absolute trash.
Kyle did great, David. You picked up the board pretty fast.
Welcome. Sorry about that, guys. We're good. We're here. I don't know how to. I know there's an email. I don't know how to change the photo behind me. Seth sent an email.
It changed on its own.
Oh, it just.
Yeah.
Huh?
During the segment, it changed on its own.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Oh, okay. I'm looking at it like I don't see it. Of course I don't see it because.
Speaking of Rob W, I saw our guy Chris Biederman last night at 50 Cent.
I saw our guy Chris Biederman this morning. Get that money. It's the only way you can keep them away from us is pay them.
Do.
Jesse's about had it.
Yeah, it is what it is, though, man. It is what it is. Hey, real
Such
quick,
a wonderful saying.
'cause
It is what it is. Well, what else is it supposed to be?
what people hoped it would be, what they think it is. No, it is what it is.
That's my life motto right there. Works for everything.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Something goes bad is when it
Who
is.
doesn't know what you're doing right now?
One of the homies. Man. Shout out to my man Alan Knox, man. And the ringer ain't even on this. I don't even know why it's
The
ringing.
iPad's hard to turn it.
Yeah,
That was the
man.
iPad. Yeah,
It's
iPad's
crazy,
hard to
man.
turn.
Shout out to my man Alan Knox. Real quick before we get heavy into the sports, I mentioned 50
Mhm.
last night at the Golden One Center final lap tour.
Yeah.
Man, that dude 50 Cent.
Did that?
Well, I was with the homie Oasis, and 50 it was just like nonstop energy for like 40 minutes. Just hitting you over the head with hit after for like 40 minutes. And then he takes like a 2-minute break where he's going backstage. There's no music being played. It's like 2 minutes though.
Mhm.
And our guy DJ Oasis, he leans over and he says, "That's why nobody's running to get with him in the verses." And then he comes back and does another 40, 45 minutes. I mean,
That's tremendous.
I'm not saying he can't be beat in a verses. I'm just saying that's not somebody that you would be running to go up against. 50 got crazy. And I'm not even like I feel like it tails off dramatically after Get Rich or Die Trying, but he still got crazy hits.
The Massacre wasn't bad. I didn't think it was great,
Yeah.
but it when your first album is that, it's tough.
Yeah.
And
Curtis was cool.
Yeah, it was
okay.
fine. It was fine.
But man, he came with some craziness. Then he did an encore after he was done. He did like another. So he does in the club. Everybody thinks it's over, and he does an encore, and then he does. I forgot the official name of the song, but Jeffrey Atkins. He's still performing it. He's still performing it, and it goes crazy. Back Down is the name of the song, actually. The Ja Rule diss, and oh man, jeez,
that's tremendous.
Yeah,
I love it.
He did his thing, man. Shout out to 50 Cent.
That's good stuff. That's a lot like what LL did. Like LL came out and hit a set of hit after hit after hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. Left. Ice-T came out. A couple of others came out, and then he came back with another hit, another hit, another hit, another hit.
That's my boy.
Like LL, like man, he's got a catalog, man.
Yeah.
Like those hit records were. I started thinking when he left the stage the first time after doing the collab with E40, which wasn't a collab. He was just walking around on stage while E40 did Captain Save Him. He did Sprinkle Me. And then the whole arena sang the Big Sean joint. Like,
Mm.
that's a tough song to explain to somebody who might not be familiar with it. Because they wasn't singing the radio edit. Like that song was on point. And you start thinking, wow, okay, he hasn't done I Need Love. You're like, wait a minute, he has a slew of songs he hasn't done. And then sure enough, you have a couple more performances. There was no break. It was just the music just kept going. Like it never stopped. Black Thought was essentially the MC for it. Just phenomenal. And then all of a sudden you hear dun, dun, dun.
Oh yeah.
And of course the ladies go nuts. And
Yeah.
when I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall. And then that kicked off the second set of LL.
That's my boy. Most underrated rapper of all time. I'll say that. Most underrated rapper. That doesn't mean he's necessarily the best. I'm just saying he's probably the most underrated rapper in hip hop history.
I had a moment where I had convinced myself of something ridiculous. I was watching everything, right? The Roots. I was watching everything happen in front of me. And my guy, I love DJ Jazzy Jeff. And I've talked about, especially around the 50-year anniversary of hip hop, how influential DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince were to me loving music. And he was out there with the Roots the whole time until LL came out the second time. DJ Jazzy Jeff wasn't there. I convinced myself for a solid 10 minutes that DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince were going to come out. And I'm sitting here like, how could this work? Like, he brought E40 out the first time. The big moment here is he's going to bring out Will Smith. Because that's totally logical to bring out Will Smith in San Francisco. That makes complete sense.
If you were in LA, maybe you had a shot.
No. LA, Philly, no. San Francisco works for me. And then it dawned on me the reason that he wasn't out there is because they weren't doing records anymore. It was the band. That, like, the Roots were doing everything. There were moments where like the band would work, but Jeff would have like a record and he would be, scratching and mixing and especially for guys like Ice-T, Salt and Pepper, and so on. It wasn't until, it's just the Roots now. Like, that's all it is.
Almost.
So Will Smith didn't
possibly
come out. No, but I had convinced myself that was going to happen.
You talked about the crowd going crazy and singing E40 and Big Sean out there in the Bay Area. So 50, this is during the encore because he did a bunch of songs, right? And in my head, I was like, he didn't, there was still some features he didn't do, but dude just went on for like an hour. Like, I'm not going to complain. Like, he's crazy. It comes out during the encore and he's rapping these lyrics and he keeps using Too Short's favorite word. And he's just like, I got this, I got that, and I told the and that, and he keeps using the word. And in my head, I'm like, this is hip hop. It's a little excessive, but this is what hip hop can be sometimes. Not thinking nothing of it. Then all of a sudden, don't act like a, and I was like, oh, the whole place goes crazy. I was like, oh, I forgot his verse on here. They went nuts. 19,000.
Very nice.
19. They were in the rafters.
I can't lie, because late last week it looked like there were about 18,000 tickets left.
Man, hey, I don't know what they did with 19,000.
That's what's up.
Hanging from the rafters in the Golden One Center. They went crazy when that dropped too.
That's tremendous.
Oh, and one more thing, the only black eye on the night.
Oh, I heard about this.
Addicted. Yayo, I see you. I'm doing the dance and everything. At least 8 times. Bay Area, stand up. 50's here. Yayo, please. Maybe it was just a mistake. Maybe it was one of those things where he forgot where he's at. They're on tour. He just forgot. 20 minutes later. Bay Area, get up. 50. Yayo. Yo, somebody get Yayo right now. Tell him. Tell him before I kill him. Tell him before I kill him. Yayo got to know better than that.
Yeah, this
is not the Bay Area.
Can't do that.
No.
Can't do that. And the 49ers have to know better because in the Bay Area, there is a problem. And that problem is Nick Bosa. In fact, the problem is Nick Bosa ain't there. And today's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Pretty sure the game week starts on Wednesday. Yeah. The preparation for week 1 starts on Wednesday. Like the full-on preparation for week 1 starts on Wednesday. For weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, it had been, there's no concern. Everything's fine. It'll get done. A deal will get done. Then all of a sudden, I think Ian Rappaport said yesterday, 49ers are they're going to need something major to happen for Nick Bosa to be on the field come this week. And it's like, okay, I'm sorry. What is happening right now? Where have we gone wrong?
All right. So maybe somebody could tell me differently. Maybe somebody can tell me if I'm off or I got the information wrong, but I'm listening to Ian Rappaport as well. And everything that he's saying is that the Niners are making Nick Bosa the highest paid edge rusher in the game.
Which puts him above $28 million average annual salary that belongs to TJ Watt.
I think, I'm not sure. This is where maybe you can help me out. I think they're getting him to 30.
I didn't hear that, but okay.
I think they're getting him to 30. Now, here's where the problem is. Aaron Donald, I think, is 31.
That's correct. Aaron Donald's average annual salary is $31 million. 31.6 to be exact.
And that's where the hiccup is. Let's just say if it was me, if I was Parag Marathe, if I was John Lynch, I'd give him the money he was looking for. But I hear a lot of people out there really mad at the 49ers. Just pay him. I can't believe they're doing this. Just pay him. And I'm not trying to be a contrarian or nothing like that. Once again, I'd give him what he was asking. But on the flip side, RIP, Nick, really, Nick, really, you're going to not play for a couple $1 million? Or really, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like to me. You're not going to play because, how do I say this? I'll just be nice and PG about it. You just won a certain title. You want the title of being the highest paid defensive player in the game. That's why. Not because they're not paying you, not because they're not going to take care of you, not because they're not going to put you ahead of really all of your peers, right? Because Aaron Donald's not, I say he's not his peer because he's been in the game longer. Quite honestly, he's accomplished more than Nick Bosa. All this, like all your peers, your TJ Watts, your Parsons for right now. You can name a couple other guys or whatever. They're putting him ahead of that. They're just saying, man, we can't get you to Aaron Donald. It's $1 million or $2 difference or $2 million a year difference. You gonna hold out because of that?
So here, there's a couple of things. There's a variety of different things at play and how this can be looked at and why I don't think a ton of blame should go to the 49ers, if any. I think part of, too, in defense of 49er fans who feel one way, even, the way you feel, sometimes we look at numbers like 28 million, 30 million, and we think, well, what's another $1.5 million? What's another 2 million? And normally in situations like this, normally in football, this isn't the case in basketball. It's not the case in baseball either. But in football, your pay structure is almost always unofficially your position group. And, there's the TJ Watt, $28 million annually, and the report that the 49ers are willing to give him more than TJ Watt. Normally, that's how things are judged. And normally in those cases, you see increases of like $1 million to $1.5 million. And when you go and look at the quarterback contracts, because that's the one, like, who's the highest paid quarterback? Well, who's the last person to sign a contract?
Right.
Because that's normally is how it is. I remember we were talking, I think it was Lamar, and there was one of Schefter's riding from the jock of the Baltimore Ravens front office reports that Lamar had turned down a contract that would have paid him a certain figure. And I remember we did a show on this when we looked up that figure, and that figure was like $3 million more
Mhm.
than whoever was number one at the time. And
Mhm.
I can't remember.
Probably was it Kyler?
It might have been Kyler.
Yeah.
You can't
That
find
factors into what I'm about to say too. Go ahead.
you can't find a moment in, next quarterback up, next quarterback up, next quarterback up, new highest pay where something jumps by more than $1.5 million.
Mm.
We looked it up and it capped like universally
Mhm.
at $1.5 million per contract. That was the highest. That
Mhm.
wasn't like the bar. It had to be at least. That was just always, that was the highest. It happened a couple of times. I think it happened once with Russell Wilson, happened with a couple of other guys where that increase was $1.5 million more than whatever the other one was. And I'm sorry, Schefter's trying to convince me he was offered $3 million more and said no. That didn't happen. And that's where you get into this thing where if I'm Nick Bosa or I'm Nick Bosa's representatives, it's fine to look at Aaron Donald and the ultimate non-quarterback contract. But we're talking at this point, $3.7 million over your position group. As an agent, that's a tough sell. 3.7 over your position group.
That's a tough sell for.
That's a tough sell, like to a team,
right?
Because if
to get them
if I'm an agent,
gotcha.
like I don't know how I rationalize. Like if hey, here's what we want: 3.7. We want him to be the highest paid non-quarterback in league history.
Mhm.
Okay, well, look, we were comparing him to TJ Watt. We think he's the best edge rusher in the game. And if the 30 million is accurate, and we'll operate just for the sake of this conversation that it is, we're willing to go $1.5 million over what TJ Watt makes on the annuals. Now with the annuals, you also have to figure out injury guarantee, total guarantee, and now the new hotness, guaranteed at signing. How much money do you make the second your pen touches paper?
Right.
These are all things that have factor in, but the ultimate, BD energy is that average annual salary.
Yeah.
That's all it is at this point. And I think where we look at stuff like a couple of million here, a couple of million there, those small incremental increases, those are important to franchises in a sport that has a hard cap. And from the Nick Bosa perspective, though, the only thing I keep thinking about is his agent going to the San Francisco 49ers, or perhaps Nick Bosa going to his agent and saying, I'm not going to be a quarterback here. I need a contract that in 8 months, Micah Parsons isn't going to beat, because I'm better than Micah Parsons. My teams are better because of me than Micah Parsons' teams are with him. I don't want to sign a contract that Micah Parsons is going to beat in 8 months. That's why I want this Aaron Donald contract.
And I think that's exactly what's going on. And to be honest with you, I think it was Rappaport who talked about this, who talked about the Bosa family. The Bosa family is big on the principle of what they believe, right? And he just he didn't go into super detail into it, but he just said, like, the Bosa family, talking about from the dad, the granddad, to the dad, to Joey and Nick.
Did this cover the mob boss that we uncovered in their their family history?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I don't know nothing about nothing.
I mean, it's on Wikipedia. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. It's not my fault.
We don't want any problems, Mr. Big Tuna.
I believe that was his name. Was it Big Tuna? Yeah. I don't want no problems, Mr.
But
Tuna.
he talked about they are heavy on the principle. And if the principle to them is Nick should be the highest paid non-quarterback in the game, he just kind of talked about they're willing to ride out whatever until that is the case. And I'm usually I try to be pro player in this situation, but come on, man. Come on now. Like I can't believe if the reports are true, I can't believe he would hold out because of that. That is frustrating because, like I said, you talk about your position group, all this other stuff. Even if you're second, they're putting you at like $30 million. $30 million. And because they won't go over $2 more million a year, you're gonna sit out. I know I know what type of game it is. I get all that, but then we get into this is the terrible part about negotiating. This is the hard truth when it comes to negotiating. I believe Aaron Donald signed that contract after they won the Super Bowl, correct?
Yeah, that was the please don't retire Mr. Donald contract.
So if I'm in that room, I gotta be like, Nick, he got that after bringing one home.
Mhm.
Nick, you're phenomenal. You're phenomenal. You know, I've been critical of Aaron Donald to a certain degree, but you're phenomenal, Nick. You're not Aaron Donald. You're not. And if you want to talk about, yeah, that's not how the game works and that's not how the money works. I understand that, but they gave him that after he brought home the Lombardi. You haven't brought home the Lombardi.
Well, they not only did they give him that contract after bringing home the Lombardi, they gave him that contract as an incentive to not retire.
Exactly. And I'm giving you this contract, Nick Bosa, as incentive not to hold out because we're trying to win that Lombardi. Now, mind you, I'm saying all this when I originally said I would just do it. Like, we got business to attend to. I would get him in there, give him what he wants to get him in, and we'll figure out all the cap stuff when it comes about next year. And I just get him in, man. Like, that's how I would go about it. But if we're being real, Nick Bosa wants to be paid more than Aaron Donald. And as a 49er fan, somebody who hates the Rams, somebody who has, been critical of Aaron Donald in the past, the fact remains, Nick Bosa, you're not Aaron Donald. You're not Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, in some people's eyes, is the best player to ever play the game. He just won. This wasn't Aaron Rodgers at 12 years ago, 15 years ago, winning a Super Bowl. He just beat you to win a Super Bowl 2 years ago. Where you were nowhere to be found. See, this is why you don't want to negotiate, and because he gets up in the trenches when it was needed. I needed you to go get Matthew Stafford and keep this team from coming back on us. You couldn't do it. When they needed to put things away, Aaron Donald put it away in the NFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl to bring home the gold. You're not him. How can I pay you more than him? You're not him.
Okay. There's a lot there. Are we sure he's not him, though?
Well, that's what we've seen right now.
Because,
can he be? We don't know.
Well, see, that's another important distinction when you talk about the time that Aaron Donald signed the contract in question here, worth 30 and some change, 31 and some change. That was technically at the tail end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's in the we know we're in the final stages of Aaron Donald's career. Mm-hmm. By his own choice and admission, we know we're in the final stages of Aaron Donald's career. Bosa's finished his fourth season? Mm-hmm. This is coming out of his rookie deal, in which he's already won Defensive Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. He's been a Pro Bowler 3 times. He was the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Like, if we're going off accolades, 4 years in,
yeah,
and you're trying to find hear me. You're trying to find the best non-quarterback in the league. Nick Bosa's starting to make a case for himself.
Absolutely. And he's a guy that from day one, damn near play one of his career, he's been that dude. He didn't have to take a couple games to kind of get going or whatever. I remember in Tampa Bay how he was all over Jameis Winston from damn near the first snap. Like, he has been that dude from the moment he stepped on the field in the NFL. No doubt about it. But when we talk about the contract, and like I said, I know it's a little different. There's also please don't retire money into that as well. Mm-hmm. The Rams also said, thank you. Mm-hmm. You did what we asked you to do, what we needed you to do, what we expected you to do. Here's a couple of $1 million extra.
I don't think they said thank you. I disagree.
Well,
I think they were begging. Don't go.
Well,
I think there was more begging money than thank you money.
Fair enough, but they were also begging because they wanted to repeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
no doubt.
we ain't
Of
got nothing to
course.
repeat right now,
Of
Nick.
course.
There's nothing to repeat.
So putting on my Rich Paul hat for a minute here,
Mhm.
I'm going, hey, unlike Aaron Donald, where you're begging him not to retire as this contract goes into effect, wondering if your quarterback still has an arm, wondering if this franchise that won you a Super Bowl still has life. In 4 years, because you're going to sign a 6-year deal.
Mhm.
We both know it's only 4.
Mhm.
In the 3rd year, still going to be a bargain.
You don't have to
Because
you don't have to convince me.
My
I'm
client
paying him.
is going to be the best player in professional football. My client has shown you in the 3 seasons he's been healthy. He's played 4 years, got hurt in game 2 1 year, along with the entire 49ers roster.
Mhm.
The 3 years he's played, he's showed you what he is.
Mhm.
You could sign this deal now. This isn't beg you don't retire money. This is an investment in your future.
Mm.
Here is $31.7 million.
So
you ultimately make $10,000 more than Aaron Donald. You can say you're the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, and that's probably a contract that Jerry Jones will not match for Micah Parsons when he signs ultimately his $30 million per year deal.
And that's what I don't understand, because it's clear where all this is, like, what all this matters. It only matters that Nick Bosa and his agent and his family can say we're the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. So why not make up some fake money so they can say that?
Mhm.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Let's just make up some fake money so you can say that, and we can still pay you what we need to pay you.
This is all monopoly money.
That's why I don't understand the hang up.
Look, Aaron Donald had his is one of the more confusing contracts. His total guarantee, and I vaguely remember this. It was a 3-year, $95 million deal with all of it guaranteed if he chose to play. It was $45 million guaranteed at signing, and then I think they have an out next year, but that's the final year.
Yeah. The other thing I would say, because if I was the front office, might have caught you up and said, you told me he's going to be the best player in the NFL moving forward. Put your money where your mouth is. If you are what you say you're going to be, we'll pay you every dime. But you got to win another DPOY. You got to get it a Super Bowl. If you do that, we'll give you everything you want. But if not, we're not on the hook for it.
Scott Branson's top of the hour, right? Confirm. Okay, Scott Branson, Silver and Black today, will join us at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. We'll talk much more about the 49ers. We'll talk much more about the NFL leading in to week 1 coming up here Thursday. By the way, there's a team playing on Thursday that's missing a pretty big.
Ooh.
They're missing a pretty important part of their
They might be
team
missing
as well.
too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Steeling with KC, brought to you by Sky River Casino here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. I'll get that Sky River joint on the way back. It's a little too late to do it here.
Is being at this stalemate with Bosa and all that and not paying him what he wants right now, is it worth him not playing week 1 and him sitting out?
Nope.
Not to me. Like I said, I would pay him. I just here, take this goddamn money and let's get on the field. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the holdup with the 49ers is on their end.
I don't know. Well, probably because it's not fair. Like they're sitting here like, bro, we're making you the highest paid edge rusher by a lot.
The game is the game, and he's up next. He's the guy right now on defenses in the NFL. So you got to pay him what he's worth.
We are. They are willing to pay him what that's the whole baffling thing.
Not if he wants Donald money. Like, say we're saying we'd be willing to pay him and stuff like that. So that's what he's worth. If you acknowledge he's worth Donald money, then you got to pay him the Donald money.
I can also tell you why he's not, though.
But do you want to piss him off, though?
I can tell you he's pissing us off if I'm the front office.
Yeah, but he'll be fine.
We'll just be pissed off together then. And you sound, not you, but Bosa, you sound crazy if you be pissed off because we're giving you 30 and not 31 and a half. Sound crazy.
I got a family to feed.
Got to feed my kids.
That was messed up that time. What did Randy Moss say about like the catering at the Vikings? He's like, man, this stuff is disgusting. I wouldn't feed my dog this stuff. I said, oh, come on. I think that's when they got him out the building. Like, Randy, come on, man. Randy used to be a wild boy for him to be like as nice as he is now. Randy was a wild boy.
Russell says Lions will upset Chiefs in week 1. All right. I think a lot of people would like that. They big on the Lions.
Lazy, I did see this. I've seen it plenty of times before. That's always hilarious. Cameron shooting the half court shot and Mace being upset because he didn't hit the ball. Mace was pissed off because he didn't hit the ball. I think I retweeted that on Twitter. Mace was hot.
Scott Gobranson going to join us coming up
Downtown
here.
Scott.
Yes, indeed. Steelo and KC brought to you by Sky River Casino. They got the $100,000 cream of the crop. The cream of the crop slot tournament. Tuesdays in September from 3 to 9. You can harvest your share of $25,000 each week. Top spot takes home $10,000 in prizes. One of the many amazing things. I heard a rumor. It didn't happen. They had to put it off. I heard a rumor that Katrina was going to drag Mr. Ramsey over to SR Prime prior to the final lap tour. Now I think some things broke down and they're making their plans to go later in the month, but it was the first time that I thought, I think we can get Ramsey out to the live broadcast September 21st.
Oh,
I think we can get him there in his basketball shorts and his mask.
Come on, man. Pull up, Ramsey. Stop playing.
I think maybe if we throw him some tickets to YG, maybe we can convince him to
I don't think Ramsey
club.
wants to see YG.
He probably doesn't, but if Katrina wants to, he's going to do what the hell Katrina tells him to
I feel
do.
like Katrina would just go by herself.
Well, Katrina would do that.
Be like,
too.
the hell with you, Ramsey. I'll go myself.
Well, sometimes you do what you got to do. But you could do it all over at Sky River Casino. New members join today and get $20 free play. Again, D'Lo and KC brought to you by Sky River Casino. Get in on the action with 2,100 of the newest slot machines and over 80 table games. Sky's the limit if you are 21 and over at Sky River Casino. Before we get back to Nick Bosa, we mentioned that the Kansas City Chiefs also headed into week 1, perhaps without some key components. And I'm assuming the second, outside the obvious, which we'll touch on in a minute, key component that they might be missing is Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, hyperextended knee. I think it was today in practice. He's questionable for the season opener on Thursday.
Yeah, you knew it was bad because Andy Reid was not really interested in answering questions about him. He wasn't interested in answering questions about Travis Kelce, nor was he interested in asking questions about Chris Jones. Chris Jones, Nick Bosa, those are the two biggest holdouts in the NFL right now, with the first game, at least for Kansas City, just 2 days away.
Yeah, Chris Jones. I remember I saw a report last week that Chris Jones is prepared to hold out till at least week 8.
Yeah, they said they ain't even talking.
Yeah, they're not. There's a lot of people who report on the Nick Bosa stuff, and like Ian Rappaport, he said it would take something major for them to be there, whatever. Kind of saying like they're not really close, like they're both kind of dug in on their positions, and even though the money isn't far away, they're just like, no, we're not really close on this. I've heard Chris Jones, they're like, $8 million apart, and
Oh my
like
God.
they are like nowhere close.
Yeah, they're like not even talking at this point, I think.
$8 million apart is y'all just might as well sign the divorce papers. Like in NFL money,
Yeah.
y'all don't stay together for the kids, man. This thing might be over. Don't stay together for Patrick Mahomes, man. This might be done. That's a large number to be apart.
Our guy now, Rich could be anywhere. He would know better than I would.
Yep.
He said they are talking, and they're about $3.5 million annually off. So that's better than what I heard a couple weeks ago.
Well, okay.
Still
devil's advocate, $3.5 million annually off could be a total of anywhere from like $14 to $16 million.
Right. That's just a nice way of putting it, Rich.
It's actually not 8 million. It's about 17.5, but only 3.5 million annually. Again, there's so much that goes into these NFL contracts that sometimes makes them impossible to understand. But you have the average annual value, the total guarantee, the total injury guarantee, and the total guarantee at signing. And none of those are the actual number that's reported. The number that's reported will be like whenever this stuff with Nick Bosa happens, and it's going to happen. It's going to be 120, 30 something million dollars. And then it's going to be broken down. Okay, what is it really? And perhaps in Nick Bosa's case, like you were laying out, maybe there is a scenario where he can so you have the guaranteed money and you have the easily attainable, or not easily attainable, but the put your money where your mouth is attainability of, okay, you want this contract to be worth an average annual value of $32 million. You win one more defensive player of the year in the next 4 seasons, and it does. Now, no agent wants that,
right?
Because that's harder to report on. That's a longer tweet to send Adam.
Right. But see, and this is, like I said, it's all about the wording. That's all these people want. That's all the agent wants. It's all the player wants. All about the wording. They can pull the new NBA joint, the new Woj.
Oh man,
and say, "Hey, Nick Bosa, he's about to sign a contract that could get him up to,
but that's
$240 million or something like that."
I feel like that's what NFL's been doing forever. The NFL just started that nasty practice. Would they say Kyle Kuzma's deal was worth? It was 102?
Something.
And then it was like, nah, it's not. That's not what his deal was worth. It's like, so that's what we're doing in the NBA now.
Yeah.
We used to not have to read contracts in the NBA. Yeah. Now I need Mike Florio to break down Giannis Antetokounmpo's latest deal.
Yeah, that happens. You brought up Lamar and Kyler earlier, and their comp, and Lamar saying, he wanted to be paid more than Kyler. In that particular case, I completely get it. Way more accomplished than Kyler. Well, Kyler Murray had a contract, and he's like, I need at least that.
To be fair, Kyler was the example. It might not have been him. And I
think it was Kyler.
It might have been Russell Wilson, but I can't remember when Russell Wilson signed his, because Russell Wilson is a little bit above Kyler Murray. I just can't remember when he signed his. So it's either Kyler or Russell Wilson. It's one or the other. In Lamar's case, especially with Kyler Murray,
and it didn't even have to be that Kyler was the most. It was what Kyler made, and Lamar said, "I'm not going below that."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Even if Russell was the highest, that's kind of irrelevant. Kyler signed his deal, and Lamar's like, "I'm not doing any less than that because I'm way more accomplished than him. I've accomplished more in this league than he has." I get that. Bosa using that same stance for Aaron Donald. Oh man, I don't know, man.
Do you think Bosa is the best defensive player in the NFL right now?
It's debatable. Like, it really is debatable. I think he is, but it's debatable. Some people would say Parsons. Some people would say Chris Jones. Some people would say TJ Watt. I think he is. I may be biased. I think Bosa is, but those other three are B, and Aaron Donald's still a beast too.
Is Micah as important to the Dallas Cowboys' success as Nick Bosa is to the San Francisco 49ers?
I would say he might be more. Okay. The only reason I say that is because I think the 49ers defense, the talent they have on defense is higher than the Cowboys. And it's
I just want to be clear.
and it's a little because I think the Niners linebacking core is better than the Cowboys, like way better. But I think the Cowboys secondary might be better than the 49ers secondary. But that whole line.
Can we run the tape back of what KC was talking about Michael Parsons prior to that first playoff game with the Cowboys and the 49ers?
I'm sure it's in the archives.
Can we dig into the archives of what you said before and even after?
Well, I mean, he was out there, I don't have my drops on me, but he was indoctrinating his style. Nicky Barnes.
Oh, see, no, I'm glad
that's what
I'm really
that's
thankful
what Michael
that
was saying, and I knew we were going to win at that point.
Very, very thankful that drop is gone.
As soon as he started talking like Anthony Joshua, I was like, "Oh, we got this in the bag."
Over in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, bullies get bullied.
Oh man, that did not go well for
Why
our
did you
boy
say
Micah.
that, Micah?
That did not go well for our boy Micah. You're listening to D'Lo and KC on KIFM West Sacramento, 98.5 FM, KRXQHD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320, always live on the free Odyssey app and live with our man from Silver and Black today, Scott Gobranson. Scott, how you feeling headed into week 1, my man?
I'm ready for some football. How about you guys?
We're feeling good. We're feeling good. Well, look, we're talking about Nick Bosa and his holdout and all this other stuff. Today, out of nowhere, there's some crazy stuff going on in Vegas with Chandler Jones. You see that? You see they what's my man's name?
Chandler Jones.
Jamal Adams them.
Oh no,
they wouldn't let
he couldn't get in.
Get in. What happened with that, Scott? What's that all about?
No, he deleted. He since deleted it, as you may know. But just why? I mean, what week before the regular season would it be without some Raiders drama? Right, there has to be some drama. That's what all the fans are DMing me today on Twitter and saying, why does this have to happen? It's organizational. The owner should sell, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? But I don't know. It's very strange because Chandler Jones, to me, is sort of a key for this defense to get off to a good start because Tyree Wilson, the first-round draft pick, has been hurt coming out of college, obviously. So he needs to get some time to get acclimated. So Chandler Jones suddenly can't get in the facility. He's texting his girlfriend from 5 years ago, this stuff. It's really just strange.
Well,
and I immediately went, I know everybody's making fun of it, but I immediately went to, is the guy okay? Because it's weird, to go back to, I don't know how many girlfriends, is not my business between then and now, but 5 years ago, and you're texting somebody about you can't get in the facility, you're having to go to a regular gym in Las Vegas because you can't get in the Raiders facility. It's weird. And this team's not saying anything. He's not saying anything now. So it's just a weird, bizarre situation, which is not good heading into a big divisional matchup in Denver on Sunday.
Isn't Chandler Jones' brother?
Yeah, he is.
That's a very stable group of individuals in that, family. Yeah,
but that's the thing, D'Lo. Chandler Jones didn't perform up to where they wanted him to, and obviously his contract last year, but always been a very kind of business-oriented guy, no drama around him, always very kind of straight-laced. And so, yeah, it's just very, very odd. And the story hasn't been tracked down yet. We don't know what the heck's going on and why he was telling everybody, he can't get a hold of the GM. He can't get a hold of the coach. It just seems very, very strange. So we'll have to see how it all kind of pans out.
Is he there now?
He's in Vegas. Yeah. I don't know if he's in the facility. That's why nobody knows. We're all texting people in the organization saying, hey, what's going on over there? Is he there? What? And I can't get anything back so far.
That's bizarre.
It's really weird.
Yeah, that'll.
Now that you talked about it and you broke it down the way you did, Scott, and had me thinking outside of it being a crazy story. Now I'm thinking I hope he is okay. Because this is bizarre behavior.
It's bizarre behavior. And then, in today's day and age, and listen, we all talk about it because of what we do, but we don't know the other side of that story. Like, where did that stuff come from? We don't necessarily know. It was on his Instagram channel, but you don't know. I mean, hey, people have access to your phone so who knows what happened? Right. But we need to see the other side of the story. But either way, like you said, KC, it's just bizarre.
Well, it's also like there's a situation with Chandler Jones. If there's a situation with Chandler Jones and the New England Patriots, it's like, oh, okay, we get it figured out. Situation with Chandler Jones and the Philadelphia Eagles. This is weird. We'll figure it out. Situation with Chandler Jones and the Las Vegas Raiders. Everyone's immediately like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
What is Josh McDaniels doing now?
Right.
What
Yeah.
is Mark Davis doing?
And like Scott said, they've been on their best behavior like all off season. Like nothing
Yes.
wrong has happened. They've been very calm. And for this to happen the week before game one.
Yeah.
is
And
tremendous.
in the messages too, guys, he mentions that he needs to go meet with Antonio Brown and Alden Smith.
Oh,
like
don't do that. Don't.
those
do
are the two guys you don't want to ever meet with on anything related to life or football, I would say.
You know what? I'm going to make an executive decision right now. I'm going to stall the Raiders out on this one. I don't think the Raiders have anything to do with this. And I hope Chandler Jones is okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said
I
today
hope
on
he's
our
not.
show.
I hope he's not following through with that threat to go meet with Antonio Brown,
Please
and
don't. No.
because that's not good
Never
for
meet
anybody.
Antonio and Alden.
No.
Antonio, the more Antonio Brown is ignored in life. Shout out Cameron and Mace. This message is for you. Cameron and Mace are really big into not ignoring all the individuals we wish they would.
Yeah.
Scott, Raiders open up as 4-point underdogs to the Broncos this weekend. You hate the Broncos, rightfully so. All kidding aside, you're not high on the Broncos. What do you think of the spread? And we look at the schedule. Oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Man,
yeah,
wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah,
well, shocked if the Raiders got 1-0 with this one.
Well, a couple things. One is, I'll be the first one to tell you, Sean Payton, great coach, right? Is he going to turn things around up there? I think he will. I have no doubt about that. I think his record proves that if he can get all the talent he needs there to put together the team he wants. But the two things that stick out on me, or to me, that I think point to the Broncos maybe not being as good as everybody thinks they're going to be, is Russell Wilson still doesn't look like Russell Wilson. I mean, look, I get your skills fall off as you age, so I'm not expecting him to be the guy he was 7 seasons ago. I'm not expecting that. But the way he looked last year and the way he's looked in the preseason this year, I'm just not convinced. I hope he does well. I'm a big fan of Russ. I always have been, but we'll see how that goes. And then you look at the rest of the team, you look at the injuries they've had, and I just don't see it. And then you look at the fact that they beat the Raiders once out of the last 7 times. So, the Raiders have an edge there, and the Raiders haven't been a great team. So it's not like they've been going up against a superior team. So I think the 4 points make sense, clearly, being on the road, and it's not an easy place to play. So I think it'll be a close game, and I could go either way by 3 points, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I look at the Broncos a little different than both of you guys do. I don't look at them as like Super Bowl contenders or even in AFC West contenders, but I do think they're going to be improved. I do think
Jesse, go get the Russell Wilson jersey ready for.
They're not getting one of those. Definitely not getting one of those. I can't wait till he retires. That's what I'm looking forward to. But I one of the things that sticks out to me about this Broncos team is the stat last year. Where what was it? If they would have scored like 16 points or more
every game,
they would have been like 10-5 or something like that.
Crazy.
Nathaniel Hackett, I would not have done what Sean Payton did. That was completely out of line. But he wasn't wrong. Yeah. Okay, Nathaniel Hackett was terrible last year.
You're not supposed to say it. Right. We're supposed to.
Right. And I look at that situation, and I look at like moments too, right? They had a terrible season. The sense of urgency that they're going to have going into this week 1 game. Like this week 1 game is going to be everything for them to prove that they're different, that Sean Payton has this team going in the right direction. I just think it's a tough spot for the Raiders week 1.
Yeah, it could be. And I agree with you. You look at the defense still for the Broncos, you look at up front, they're still very formidable. Not great against the run though. And the Raiders have Josh Jacobs. So we'll see how they scheme for that and how they plan for that. Sean Payton's obviously good at that. So we'll see what he does. And their offense, I'm worried, not only Russ, but then Jerry Jeudy's probably not going to play as far as we know. He's been hurt and we don't know the extent of it. So you look at that offense and you're thinking, wow, it might be the right time for the Raiders to play them right now on the road. Because of that, because they're not 100% and there is some uncertainties, but the Raiders got plenty of their own uncertainties. So it's kind of a mixed bag for the game, and everybody's picking the Broncos to finish third in the division. So we'll see how those two teams net out over the first, I think 3 or 4 games. I think we'll have a better sense for it.
Real quick, do you know, Scott, if the Raiders have been affected by any of the crazy Vegas weather that's been going on? Wasn't there like some flooding going on? I know they practice in Henderson and everything, so it's a little ways away. But have they been affected as far as their preparation for this week? But to your knowledge,
no, they have a great indoor facility there in Henderson, right on Raiders Way, so they can go inside. I've not seen anything about issues there. There was a leak in the roof at Allegiant Stadium when UNLV was playing on Saturday, so they had a little bit of a leak, and it was some water was pouring into the field. But the Raiders, as you know, play on natural grass, which is rolled into the stadium right before game day. UNLV plays on turf. So it didn't really impact anything. Of course, they had to fix the hole in the roof. But I do know my son, who's in college there, could not get to work because they had a flash flood down the street and literally for 2 days couldn't leave because the water was so deep. So, yeah, it's been crazy. But I've heard no ill effects. They did have a couple days off with the holiday as well over the weekend. So for some of it, they didn't even have to be there.
You can't tell me that Beyonce didn't tear the roof off of
Allegiant
Stadium. That's
you saw it firsthand.
That's the story I'm going with.
That
Beyonce tore the roof off Allegiant Stadium. Though I should have been in LA where Kendrick Lamar was and everybody.
And didn't Diana Ross?
Oh, see,
yeah.
If you had to make me choose, I would have gone with Kendrick as well.
Yeah, I blew it. I blew it, Scott.
As much as Beyonce would be nicer to look at, don't get me wrong.
You misunderstood. Kendrick came out at Beyonce's concert.
Oh, he did. I thought he was playing the same time in LA.
No.
You had to make a choice.
No. Kendrick showed up for Beyonce on her birthday. Yeah, as did Diana Ross.
Man.
Like I think Lil Durk was there too. For God's sakes, like everybody turned out.
He just had Kendrick and Diana.
He performed at 8 before anybody was there.
What are you doing here?
If the Raiders are going to be successful this year, what's the number one thing that has to happen?
Their defense has to go from 30th in the league to mid to high 20s.
Because offense, to piggyback off that, for a quick, was like 12th, 13th last year?
Yeah. Wow. With not a good year from Derek Carr. I mean, that's self-admitted by him. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I think with Jimmy Garoppolo, with the weapons they have on offense, they should be right there again. They should be top 12, top 10, maybe, depending on if he stays healthy and everything goes well. But then can the defense stop anybody, especially in that division? You and I and the guys here, we talk about that division all the time. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, the highest paid player in the NFL now. And then Russell Wilson. If Russell does come back and has a resurgent year and the Broncos are better, boy, you better learn how to stop people in your own division and then forget it. And the AFC is so stacked all the way across. And so you're going to have to face those teams. They got to play on the road against Buffalo in week 2. I mean, it's a tall task. So I think the one thing that has to happen is that defense has to improve greatly. Doesn't have to be a top 15, top 10 defense. I'm not saying that. They don't have the talent to be there, but they need to get all they can out of the improved secondary, the improved defensive line, and they need Max Crosby to have a big year, and they need Tyree Wilson, the draft pick, the young rookie, to get up to speed really quick and also have a good season.
Mentioned about the offense in 12, 13, something like that. Here I am caping for Josh McDaniels again. He's an offensive guy.
Yeah.
Like he did his job last year.
Yeah, but I don't think, Scott, and you weigh in, like, because you're cape right now. Here, I don't know why. Like, I'm sorry. You're cape
I'm
right
not
now.
ready to write him off. That's all I'm saying.
Your case for Josh McDaniels is really strong lately, but
He's not ready to write him off.
I mean, Scott, tell me if I'm wrong. Part of Josh's issues aren't just the X's and O's and football stuff. Like he doesn't relate to people very well.
That is an issue.
Well, that's been the story. But I will tell you that every indication this season, he's got his guy. You know, sometimes you have to, I think last year, inheriting a lot of players that he had, for whatever reason, it didn't click. I mean, we know that. You just listen to what Darren Waller said after he went to the Giants. Same thing. He didn't say anything derogatory. He just said, hey, yeah, we weren't necessarily on the same page. So there seems to be in the building now more guys that are in that mold who like McDaniels, who buy into what he's selling and the culture he's building. And so that might change a little bit. But to me, he had coaching malpractice several times last year. I mean, guys, remember, they blew 5 double-digit leads in the second half. 5. It's an NFL record. So that to me is coaching. That's game management. That's getting too conservative as you go down the line instead of trying to put a team away. And so that's what he's got to overcome. And so for me, when I look at it, my skepticism around Josh McDaniels is about that. Are we going to see him? You can't blow leads. You cannot blow leads in the NFL. You got to put your foot down on that gas and take that opponent out because they can come back. Everybody's talented in the league and you can't take anything for granted. They took the Arizona Cardinals for granted last year and blew a 17-point lead in the second half, right? So to me, that's the bigger issue.
Yeah. To paraphrase the great Trent Dilfer, you can't blow leads in the NFL and win. You can't do that.
Smart guy.
Smart guy. Yes, indeed.
Fresno State, baby.
You can't lose games in the NFL
champs.
And win. And he's right. I mean, I've heard
you can't get less points than the other team and win, right?
No one's disputed it. No one's disputed it. Scott, great stuff as always, man. We're happy that the season is finally here. And the next time we talk, we'll be talking about a football game that happened.
We'll have some results. I'm looking forward to it, fellows, and always a pleasure being on the air in Sacramento with you.
Scott, we appreciate you, my man. Thank you, brother.
Take care.
That's Scott Gulbranson, silver and black today. That poor guy's got to wonder what the hell he's getting into every time he logs.
He's talking to his people every week, like, "Yo, still got to do this."
Can we put Trista on this? Because I'm about at it.
Real quick.
No Trista today, by the way.
I was, how we always talk about the Raiders and Vegas and people, the opposing team coming into Vegas and taking over. I don't know when the Raiders are gonna get a true home game this year.
It's tough.
You see the schedule. You see like what the road game, the home games are. Excuse me. First one is Steelers.
Oh, that's
Packers.
Not happening.
Patriots.
Do they go hard?
Yes,
they do. Okay. Pause.
Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Jets.
Wait, Giants do too?
Yes, unfortunately.
Really? Wow, I don't know.
It's New York and Boston. It's New York and
Boston.
No,
I understand. I'm not saying they don't have fans, but like they're gonna invade like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay. all them New York people in November gonna want to go to Vegas for the weekend.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point.
Then they got the Chiefs at home.
Yeah, that's a problem.
The Vikings actually do pull up, but they might get a reprieve a little bit with the Vikings, but I don't know. That one might be nasty too. A lot of purple in that stadium.
I didn't know the Pats and Giants pulled up like that.
Yeah, Pats definitely pull up. Pats are, the 20 years.
Again, I'm not saying they don't have fans. I just didn't know that they pulled it like that's a cross country strike. Like I'm sure there'll be fans there, but
it's gonna be nasty. They get a break when the Chargers come to town.
Well, yep.
And then they got the Broncos.
When do they play the Chargers in LA? Because that might be their biggest home game of the year.
Or excuse me, no, week 4.
We'll come back. We'll talk more. We'll talk more NFL. I scoured the internet looking for people to trash in Deion Sanders this weekend. Man, it was quiet.
It seemed like a monumental moment. We'll talk about it.
Was quiet.
We'll talk about it.
Steelo and KC brought to you by Sky River Casino on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that works. That works. Are we? We're gonna cut the YouTube, the first 2 hours of YouTube, right? We'll cut the insiders from 10 to 12 and put that as a separate entity on YouTube. Okay, yeah, let's definitely do that. Yeah. So cut the whole 10 to 12 hours. So that way, there's a separate insiders feed. There's a separate D'Lo and KC feed, and just yep. Kyle, you have a company laptop? We got to get him the Twitch login. It's always such a freaking headache. It's Tuesday, but it's really Monday, and I'm gonna try not to cuss anyone out today. It's a good day. It's a good day.
For sure.
Not gonna cuss anyone out today.
Yeah, Dr. David, we're gonna talk about it, man. Very good stuff.
Yesterday, big Sunday vibes.
Yesterday was moving too fast. The build stuff. I had to go out to IKEA. Just moving a little too fast for my liking.
I got a fraction of the things I needed done. And I waited till yesterday to do them all. Like a jackass. Mark, we'll get to that. The CM Punk stuff, that's actually written into the show. So we'll definitely get that. What the hell? Yo, who invited this dude into the chatty house? Kamara took his jokes from the text thread over here to YouTube, youtube.com.
And when you talk about Kamara and you say his name, say it right. Say TV's Kamara Williams. You seeing me out there on Orlando 6 News?
That's old hat. That's old hat for Kamara. Like that, you just learn when you're around him. He that dude.
Looking very sharp too, as always.
That's what he does. I ask him, hey, can you send me? You have to throw stuff at him to get him. Hey, send me a link. Like where you get that from? He's like, you with t-shirts. Oh, they're out of business. Oh, you can't. Hey, Kamara, Kamara, where you get your suits? Oh man, I got a guy that it would be too much. It'd be too complicated for you to buy from him. Like it's cool. Men's Wear. I heard Men's Warehouse is solid though. Men's Warehouse.
It'd be too complicated.
906-909-1320. Man, I feel like it's been a minute since we heard from our brother TC.
Hey,
I was begging TC to call last week because someone told me, TC, to start the call with, how'd your football game go over the weekend?
Oh.
hey, first, listen, we got to start off right. What's up with my two brothers, though?
What's up, big dog?
Oh, man, just chilling. Hey, D-Lo, to answer that question, we won, though. That was a playoff game. We got a championship this Sunday.
Ooh.
Was that like this past weekend that just ended?
No, it was the weekend before because we was off for the labor hit.
Okay.
Look.
But wait, TC, is this, are you playing or are you coaching?
Nah, I'm playing. It's like a little flag league, bro. You know I can't give it up. I'm getting too old. Hey, KC D-Lo, I'm getting too old, but I can't give it up, man. I'm
I know. I'm at that spot right now myself where I was like, man, I really want to play. Like I play basketball. I could play softball forever, but basketball, I'm like, I really want to play, but the risk of injury is way high right now. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to play again, like in a league.
Yeah. So, hey, look, that competitive spirit never go away, D-Lo. Casey, y'all know what's up, bro.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey, so look, check it out. Hey, look, I'm just listening. Hey, I fell back. I want to call in, but I let everything die down and all that. Look, check it out. Look, Kenny, you already know what's up. Listen, pay that man. You got the real deal, I guess, on a cheap deal, and you got the next Steve Young on a cheap deal. What's holding this whole thing up about Bosa? Give Bosa his money, and if I'm Bosa, I'm not budging, bro. Because first of all, y'all been playing around with everybody around here, trading people away, doing all this. Kyle Lynch.
They traded one person.
listen, y'all been playing. So look, let me get my money. I'm not budging. You get what I'm saying? D-Law, I'm with you. I'm the defensive player of the year, all that. Aaron Donald, all that. I'm damn near him. You get me?
What damn
My
near?
money, bro.
So you should make damn near the amount of money he makes.
No, listen,
That's
not
what you should make.
what I should say is I'm past Aaron. Aaron got that. Listen, you can't take the ring away from him, Kenny. But Bosa's on that dude's level, bro, if not better than him. In my opinion, I think he's better than Aaron Donald. But at the same time, I'm not budging, bro. Give me my money if it's – I'm not taking 31 and 2/4. No, bro. Give me my 33 or 35 I'm asking for, or we can move on from here. You get what I'm saying? I'm not budging, bro, because the Niners, or they show that they want to play parade, be playing around with people's money and doing all that. Listen, bro, give me my money, big dog.
Love you, TC.
TC, my guy, but TC
said, "Give me that money."
Has a complete unbiased, or excuse me, a complete biased outlook towards anything King
involving that
49ers
front office. Yeah.
Like he's going to be against them
he does.
no matter what right now, especially since they're trading everybody left and right. They traded one person.
But that was his guy. He traded his guy.
Look, man, when it comes to Nick Bosa,
916-909-1320 if you want to get in on the conversation.
When it comes to Nick Bosa, I understand that. But here's the thing, and here's like where like I would go back at TC just a little bit when they're like, yo, stop messing around with him. Pay this man his money. They're giving him a boatload of money, reportedly, allegedly. Like they're not being cheap with Nick Bosa, I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be meeting what he wants, but they're not offering him 25 annual salary, and he's asking for 32. Like, bro, we're giving you $30 million a year.
GC said, "Get that man 35." GC said, "Get that man $35 million." Whoa!
So, like, what should they get it done? Should they find a way to get it done? I agree, but let's not act like the Niners are being cheap with Nick Bosa. They're not being cheap with Nick Bosa.
Yeah, not to go all, Oliver Stone, JFK here, but
okay.
You think Jerry called Jed and said, "Don't you dare," because I got to pay this same contract in a year. Don't you dare do it. You hold the line, Jed.
I'm not.
Hold the line.
Not against that. I'm not against that possibility.
You got that nice shiny Super Bowl coming your way in a year, don't you? Don't you do it?
A possibility.
I do believe that stuff happens. I do. Yeah. I absolutely believe that stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, hell, I thought the agents and the owners were in cahoots on Lamar. I still believe that to this day.
That's tough. That's tough to argue.
But if I was Jed, I'd be like, all right, Jerry, I give him 30. You're still gonna have to give him 32. Like it's like the same conversation. Like if I give Nick Bosa 32, you're gonna have to give Michael Parsons 33 and a half. If I stay at 30,
the fight's gonna be that's the other thing. That's a huge increase for Micah too. Like and that kind of resets, and this is something that the NFL does not like. That resets the market for that position group. It's no longer the 28 million that TJ Watt had and the incremental increases that could come from Nick Bosa or Michael Parsons. It's the monumental reset of the Nick Bosa, Michael Parsons contract that set that position from 28 average annual salary to, I guess in this case, it'd be anywhere from 31 and a half to, it'd actually be like 31.7 to 32 and upwards. Yeah. Which again, it's a reset of that market.
He also could have called me like, now, Jed, I just took on some of this money when I took Trey Lance over here. I gave you that 4th rounder.
That's your,
that.
That's your Jerry impression.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh. Have you ever done?
I've never done.
Have you ever done an impression that you didn't think was really good?
I'm sure I have, but not this Jerry one. Now, Jed. No, I took Trey Lance and I gave you a 4th rounder. That for being fair about the situation, Jed, I gave you a lot in that situation.
That's worse than your.
So if you want to be fair to me, then you need to go ahead and make sure Nick Bosa doesn't see that 33 million that he's trying to get.
This is like 90s Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Jones now. You need to do like 80s Jerry Jones.
That's-
oh, come on. We need to draft him. We're gonna trade for Trey Lance.
Yeah,
Like you throw a little rasp in there.
That's a that was kind of a coherent Jerry Jones. You need the slightly
I just want to win so bad.
You know it would be
So
great
bad.
if Jerry showed up like with dyed hair and a mustache, like Vince McMahon did, because him and Vince McMahon they're mirroring each other a little bit, and you're starting
Are
to
they
see
the same age?
that Jerry is getting a lot of plastic surgery, and you could see his face looking a little kind of not normal. Jerry is currently 80.
I don't think Vince is that old, huh?
Vincent Kennedy McMahon is currently 78.
Damn, 78.
Just turned 78 on August 24th.
Wow.
I need Jerry to come out with that mustache that Vince had when he sold the company to the UFC or whatever it was.
Dude would look like the ultimate supervillain.
Oh, he did. Like, did that sale even happen?
Oh no.
Did that happen? Did that go through? Does anybody know? I know what did happen, and boy, did the haters fall quiet. What is so fascinating about Deion Sanders is not just the amount of haters, but the hue, as Jay-Z would say, of the haters. And there's a variety of reasons that they justify to themselves, including Jackson State and HBCUs. But boy, did Deion shut a lot of people all the way the F up this weekend. And it's not just the final score that did it. You watch those pregame videos. You watch those postgame videos. Not of him at the podium, which I did watch all 12 minutes of it. Shout out to whatever Colorado radio television station put that up. The Sean Cunningham of Colorado, if you will. Those pre-game videos, those post-game videos, that team being locked in on that man's every single word. Deion is that dude. Whether y'all wanted to believe it, whether y'all liked it, whether you think he deserved it. Leading is about getting people to follow you. Those young men, they followed him.
Yes.
They believed everything he said.
When they had the pregame speech, I saw it, and he's speaking and he's doing his thing, and he's saying like, you guys are ready, whatever he was saying. But when he said something to the effect of, it's not coming time or whatever, the time is here. And then he goes, we aren't coming. And everybody said, we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. I was like, oh,
Yep.
I wish I would have seen that earlier, because they are locked in. They believe in everything that he says.
But it's not just the we're not coming, like we're here moment. It's the fact that like that wasn't a chant.
No, it was just
it was
speaking,
something he was
and
saying.
They were in the same space.
And the camera catches a couple of the players recognizing, no, we ain't coming. We here.
Yeah.
They recognized what was happening in that moment, and they were all in on
that.
What Coach Prime said.
That was I don't know. I have that on. I retweeted that. If we could pull that up, I think we got to hear that, man. Because just when I heard him saying everything he was saying, I was like, man, this is some good stuff. And that moment though, when he says, because he'd been saying that like all week, or said it during his press conference, like, we're not coming, we here now, or whatever. And he says, we're not coming, and you hear like 2 or 3 people, we're here. 2 or 3 more, we're here. No, we're here. I was like, oh my gosh, these boys is locked in. I was very upset that he left Jackson State, just for, I wanted
because
to
of
see
what it meant for Jackson State.
Absolutely, what it meant for HBUs and everything. I was very upset that he left.
HBCUs.
I missed another.
It's like the 20. You don't like the C and you don't like the 20. Well,
this is what
you're all right. All right, YG, chill out.
HBKU. So
Oh no. Oh no. Don't do that.
But I mean, I was like, man, I really wish he would have stayed. But I remember I watched his video. He was, people were following him around. He did a video of just saying goodbye to Jackson State. Everybody that was in the football program and that was, from the starting, well, not quarterback, but one of the football players all the way down to the student assistant that brings the Gatorade, right? And they were so grateful for the time they spent around Coach Prime. And they loved every second they were around. And they knew he had to go too. They probably knew before us this wasn't going to be forever. But they just went around the room talking about, man, thank you so much for what you've done here, for what you've done for me, this experience. They were so grateful. And that kind of shifted my whole outlook on Coach Prime going to Colorado. Because if they were grateful and they could understand he did his job and it was time to move on, I need to move on and let him do his thing in Colorado too. And I bring that up because in one game, it's just one game, but it feels like that same impact has already happened in Colorado for the people in that organization and the players that he has on that team.
This made me want to get some Colorado merchandise. I can't lie. Also, that's a really unique shirt.
Yeah,
Prime's wearing
he's cutting the sleeves, the kind of loose.
Maybe he
he
did
did
that
on
on his
purpose,
own.
yeah.
Here's Coach Prime.
We ain't got tomorrow. We got now. We ain't got next. We got now. We ain't coming no more.
Look at the look on that brother's face right there. Hey, tell me my man is not ready to run through something for his coach right now. Look at my man. Yo, look at my man.
He ready to
Look at my man right there.
I don't want to have to block him.
Yo, that brother right there is a first-round draft pick because of this speech. I'm not gonna press our luck anymore. I'm gonna stop playing right there. I'm just gonna look at my man. I ain't taking my man off the screen. Look at that. You telling me he ain't bought into everything Dion is saying right now?
On, man.
That's a grown ass man right there. That dude might be 30.
He might be.
Come on,
he
man.
might be.
So
he ready to go.
So I'm watching that game, and mind you, I don't think I'll be doing this anymore. But KC had a great weekend with the bets. Had a great weekend with the bets.
There was a third person reference right there.
Yeah,
Boy,
KC had a great weekend with the bets.
Must have been a really great weekend.
Man.
Went 5-1 this weekend.
Okay.
The only one was I had TCU -20.
Wow, look at you.
And I'll tell you this, that'll never happen again.
Karin J. Caraway. Wow.
That'll never happen again. And I watched that game, phenomenal game. Like, this was a hell of a way to start off college football Saturday. 9 a.m. out here on the West Coast. This was a phenomenal game. And I watched that game, and we'll talk about Shador too, because oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Was it 515?
Yeah.
Was that the number?
He had at least
510.
I'm gonna say 6 to 8 passes that he dropped in a bucket. I said, this is a perfect pass. He looked phenomenal. Phenomenal. So we'll talk about him in a second. But I watched that game, and then I heard Coach Prime talking after the game. And then I look back on what Travis Hunter did and his snaps and playing both ways and all this other stuff. And I say, yo, 2 things I came away with on that game. Number one, Deion Sanders is going to play for a national championship in 2 years. He's going to – it's happening.
Okay.
It's happening.
Okay.
He's getting all the players. It's happening. He's playing for a national championship in 2 years. And the other thing is the aura that this team possesses. They have the potential. They have the opportunity to be this generation's Fab Five in basketball, Georgetown in basketball when Ewing was there, Miami, the U, football. this team has the ability to be that type of team for the generation. And what I mean by that, this is a team for the culture.
Mhm.
This is a team that the culture will back, regardless of who you're affiliated with right now. Like me, Michigan, bro, I rock with Colorado. Everything about Colorado.
I'm getting that kid's jersey. I don't know who that is. I'm getting that brother's jersey right there.
Everything about Colorado, I rock with. They have that potential to be that type of team. This generation's Fab Five, Miami Hurricanes team.
This is they got to keep winning though.
They absolutely have to keep winning.
That's what it boils down
to.
to.
That's what I say. Potential.
They gotta keep winning. I think they got Nebraska. I think coming
at
up
home.
This week.
That's
They
must
should win.
see TV.
Yeah, they should win that by 90. I was scrolling through someone's timeline, the national writer, just looking to see what's out there.
I actually liked his response.
What was his response? All I see is I get the impression that my man Karin is just podding. Like he's looking for ways to get attention on himself. And if that was it's just weird because I don't know what to do with Karin. Like I think he does really, really great work.
Mm-hmm. He just goes, he jumps out the window sometimes.
I thought the Mike Brown piece he wrote was just incredibly offensive for a dude who, dude, you don't have no idea what's going on out here. Like, don't talk about the impact of a coach. I ain't seen you at a practice. I ain't seen you at a game. I ain't seen you in none of that.
Mm-hmm.
But his vendetta against Deion was super odd because he left an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost as if all of a sudden Prime was anti-black because he left an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, I had a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that jumping out the window thing that you talk about right there.
I think one, because here's the thing about Karin as well. In that particular situation with Prime at Jackson State, he wasn't alone. There is a lot of people that when Deion took that job, they said he's just using Jackson State. He's not going to stay. And I think that's where some of the hurt comes from, because they wonder if he was going to take that job. What did the coach of Grambling say? He said, he not swag. He not swag.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like, that's the perception. Like, he's not us. He's just using us to springboard to the next job. And I think that's what had people that were in favor of the HBCUs and, the alumni. That's what hurt them, is that he never wanted to be here. He just used that. He was an opportunist, and he saw that as an opportunity to catapult to where he really wants to go.
Essentially what every single coach in history has done, and he's doing what a lot of coaches that we know and love are doing right now.
I agree. I think they wanted him to do something different. They wanted him to build.
Why does he have to be that guy though?
Because he had the ability to. In their mind, and I understand where they're coming from. I don't know if the math actually works out. But in their mind, this is the guy that could bring back HBCUs to where they were.
But that's the thing. It's in their mind and their mind only. That's their fault. Like, you setting expectations for another person and what they should do with their job, especially in an industry where it's almost universally about upwards movement, that's your fault. Don Staley's one of the greatest players that's ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
She did it.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell wouldn't every coach who took a coaching job at a lower university, why wouldn't they do that?
I don't disagree. I'm telling you, they wanted him to not be like them other ones.
Well, that's their fault then. Whether it's Karin or Mike Freeman or whoever, like, that's your fault. You put those expectations. I
understand wanting that though. Don't be like Brian Kelly. Like, we kill Brian Kelly all the time. We don't want you to be like Brian Kelly
because he sucks.
Well, he's actually a good coach.
I don't think that he is. I don't think that he is.
But he seems slimy, right? And they said, Deion, don't be Brian Kelly. Be different. And in their eyes, he was just Brian Kelly.
Let me ask this. Did Prime at all elevate Jackson State University?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Even in his absence.
I'm with you.
It doesn't feel like it.
I'm with you. I think he did. After I told you, I saw that video when he said goodbye to Jackson State. Yeah. I said he did his job. He did a great job. I'm cool, but I understand what the other people, the HBCU supporters felt about that situation. But I say all this to also say the reason why I say Dion is about to play for a national championship in 2 years, he getting all the players.
So
He's getting all the players.
So Karin wants to talk. Not Karin. Kamara wants to talk Prime. So we'll step out. We'll come back because Kamara likes to cook. We got to let the chef do his thing. So we'll come back. We'll talk more Dion. There's some hoop that I want to talk about. Team USA got a nice bounce back win this morning, and they'll be waiting for the winner of Germany and Latvia, I think, tomorrow.
Okay.
And they'll play them on Friday in the semi. So we'll touch on all that. Also, the Rich Paul interview getting a lot of buzz. I enjoyed the hell out of that conversation, but admittedly, I'm a Rich Paul fan. We'll talk about all of that when D'Lo and Casey return here. D'Lo and Casey brought to you by Sky River Casino on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. Hang on one second, Kamara. Oh, we got Scott too. Bosa's better than Donald. Scott, hang on, man. We coming for you. We'll get. Oh, damn,
Scott.
That's my bad. Ron, we'll get to WWE in just a bit.
Yeah, because I don't know if y'all follow me on Twitter. I had a take, and I'm right. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. False.
Does it though?
No.
Does it though?
No. We're going to talk. We're going to radio show about this one. Seth don't like drama.
I think he is just genuinely not liked. I think that's what it boils down to. He is not liked. Should get these pictures posted. Where's Kyle? There's Kyle. Save.
You know what? That feels like so long ago. I guess we didn't talk about that. That happened on Thursday after the show.
Yeah, we really didn't. Why am I the only one smiling in this picture? Jesse's not even looking at the camera.
You told us not to.
Well, no, because Kim was taking 4,000 pictures. I thought we were on to something else. This is one. Oh, Ham's got a slight smirk. Charlie's not looking at the camera. God damn it. Kim told scooch closer together. James is literally smirking in every picture. Every single one.
He doesn't know how to do a move up, man. It's not his bag.
Boy, look at this suit Kamara got on. God damn.
The burgundy joint? Come on, man. Come on, man. Too smooth.
Yeah, whenever you're done. Yeah, that's fine. Whenever you want to post it. Yep. I would just post it now. All right, let's get back to these phones. Man, Kamara, I'm sorry, televisions.
Yeah.
Kamara Williams.
Gotta say it right.
Waiting patiently. Oh, look at why this dude always do this. He just sent me a link for the suit that we were just talking about. Like, why he doesn't send me the stuff I asked for until he gets called out on a radio show. Then he does it. Let's welcome in the attorney, television's Kamara Williams.
First of all, hold up. The suit link, we got to talk offline because this suit they change, the product every once in a while, and it's coming from France.
Oh,
so it takes
wow.
weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, better check the price tags on these because this just might be out of my.
Good price. That's why I like going to them.
Well, good price for you and good price for me might be something different, Kamara.
I mean, you wear $300-something Jordans.
That's on a down day.
See, we're not even talking about my shoes.
That's
what are you talking? These ain't $300.
You could afford a money making Mitch. You can afford it.
I was
I'm
searching,
broke, baby.
I was searching for a black designer to wear to the upcoming nuptials.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I found one. Boy, I was so hyped, and then I saw the models were Michael K. Williams and Michael B. Jordan. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Clicked on the suit. This was Kamara's website. It was like $7,000. I was like, oh no.
This is my stuff?
Oh no.
This is my stuff?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
But I'll send it to you because I'm sure you could afford it.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Okay. No, man. So a couple things, man. About the Dion, one of the things that we have, from an HBCU culture is that feeling like a lot of people don't respect the environment and the culture. You even saw some people saying that Shador's not going to be able to compete on the Power 5 conference level because it's a JUCO. And so there is some of that insecurity there of feeling like people don't respect HBCU football, HBCU culture, and when the coach was saying that he's not SWAC, it's because a lot of people don't value that SWAC, or they don't value the players. And you saw, and I think the last draft, there was not a single person drafted from HBCU, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's ridiculous to me because, okay, we understand that D-line and offensive line is what makes, Power 5 conference football different. But Shador even said that the speed's the same on the outside, the same speed, the same amount of talent. So, so for just not on the fan level, but also on the NFL level, people don't look at college athletes on that level as having the ability to transfer. And that wasn't always the case. You had, great Hall of Famers that came from HBCU colleges. So I think sometimes when you're seeing that vitriol towards Dion, it's because of that thing of you're just like the rest of them. Now, I don't agree with it. I think, Dion's never said he was always going to stay as HBCU coach, but it was just always feel like, we were just now starting getting that recognition, and then you left it high and dry. And you saw that FAMU, may or may not saw, FAMU beat the brakes off of Jackson.
Yeah.
And so there was always some rumbling see, this is what we're going to say now. Jackson's going to come falling back down, but that's not on Dion. I mean, he was going to end up leaving anyway.
Do you? I want to ask you real quick, Kamara. Being in touch with the HBCU culture, the way you are. So, I think that you hit it on the head. That's kind of what I could gather too, is that people wanted him, and I'm using this guy as an example. They didn't want him to be Brian Kelly, like the ultimate opportunist. They wanted him to come to the HBCUs and be part of building it up. And when he left, it was, you're just like the rest of them. Now, the thing about that is do you think that he didn't understand what he was getting into when he signed up to be the head coach of Jackson State? He looked at it like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do well and bring notoriety to it. But he didn't understand the passion that, some people would have for HBCU and the way they would feel scorned if he left.
I don't know if I maybe not the vitriol, the leaving, but I think he did know, especially, being here in the South. You got to understand, Florida State is literally right across the street from FAMU, right, in Tallahassee. They share the same road. And so anybody who's been in the South, they know the passion and just the idea of what HBCU culture is. And so I don't think Deion went in there with his eyes closed about what it is. I mean, he's from Florida. You know what I mean? And
real quick, Kamar.
There's 4 HBCUs here in Florida alone.
Kamar, real quick.
Right?
So what I was saying though was he thought when he came to Jackson State and he did what he did and built the program up, he thought they would be like, "Thank you, Deion," not "You did us dirty." Like he thought it would be a different reaction when he left as opposed to what it was for some people. You think that's accurate?
I do think that's accurate, but that also speaks to an ego of a man of Deion's caliber, right? Because nobody with any ego is ever going to think they've done anybody wrong. That's in business and in life. That's not to be, take any shots at Deion. I love Deion, but I mean, you've met people with big egos. Do they ever walk in a room saying, "Yeah, I expect people not to like me for my decisions"? Chances are that's not the case. And so I just think Deion was a little bit blind in that. But I mean, ultimately, he knew because of how people feel about HBCU, in particular Jackson, there was going to be some hard feelings. But you either rip the Band-Aid off or you just go, do it slowly. But I think it was, as you can see, he made a good career move, right, at Colorado, and we'll see how it ends up. But I do see what you're saying, though, Casey.
He's going to end up in a national championship, at least appearance. I don't know if he's going to win that game.
He's
going to play for a national.
My favorite part about that is I think Kamara just had us on like his conference call, and he was just walking around like his 800 square foot office, putting back
the hard bottoms on the wood floor,
putting back a first edition in Odyssey of Hope book that he had autographed by the Audacity of Hope that he had autographed by President Obama's. Put that back in its place. Pile through these cases.
Man,
here.
I'm trying to be like Kamara when I grow up. Man.
We all are.
That's the play. Now, real quick on Deion. I'm all in. As you can see, I said the man is.
See that?
I think this felt like a special moment on Saturday. There's only one game. He's gonna have to keep winning. There's two things going on.
Mm-hmm.
There are people waiting for him to lose.
Oh yeah.
And I hope he handles it well when it happens, because they are gonna come out. They're gonna get nasty. Pork rinds.
See, that's the thing
when he loses.
That's the thing with Deion is I don't feel like, and I guess I'm probably in the minority about this, I don't feel like he's handled anything wrong in the process. Like he knows how to handle stuff. Mm-hmm. Like he's one of the most charismatic athletes we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. It's the part of coaching a lot of people like to ignore. You talk about Brian Kelly, you talk about X's and O's and all of that. Like you used to do that all you want. Mm-hmm. We had a conversation, I don't remember if it was on or off the air, about John Calipari. Mm-hmm. There's no evidence that John Calipari is a good basketball coach. Absolutely none. But that dude leaks charisma. Mm-hmm. And he can win mom, dad, girlfriend, grandma, and most importantly, 16, 17, and 18-year-old athletes.
Absolutely.
And Deion can do that.
Absolutely. The other thing about Deion is the way he's coaching, the way he's recruiting, the way he's talking. There are people in college football who are not going to like that, who already don't like it. Mm-hmm, and they didn't worry about it because he was at little old Jackson State before. But now he's infringing on their territory. And I'm talking about ADs and coaches around the country. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to need Deion and the people around him to make sure everything you do is on your P's and Q's, because they're going to be coming after you.
They're waiting.
They are looking for any opportunity to I don't want to say nail you to the cross. That's not what I mean. But they're looking for any slip up so they can catch you on it and get you out the paint. I see that already right now. We don't need no hardball situation where the miscommunication and communicating with a recruit or something like that.
Right.
We don't need none of that.
Sure, that's what happened.
Well, that's of course.
Sure. Can you imagine?
And being the stand-up individual that he is,
right,
and holding himself accountable.
Sure.
He said, "I'm going to suspend myself."
Could you imagine the reaction if Deion Sanders in Colorado announced a self-imposed 3-game suspension? Oh, by the way, flying under the radar, my offensive coordinator is also suspended.
Yeah. Well, self-accountability. That's all it was. So I'm just, I want my man Dion, just all the people around to make sure everything is up to date and according to plan, because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to look for any little thing to catch him on.
Speaking of looking for every little thing to catch him on, did you get a chance to catch Rich Paul with Gilbert Arenas and that crew over there?
I saw a couple clips. I didn't see the whole thing. I want to see it though. I'm gonna check it out.
You saying "see" is throwing me off. I did listen to it. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I would have watched it.
I saw the clips. I consume a lot of audio when I'm walking, so that's I most of these shows that even I think Rich referenced, your viewers, people watching, whereas I'm like, oh yeah, people watch this stuff now. They watch this show.
Yeah.
Of course, people created memes and created headlines and cut pieces and apparently led Fox Sports TV shows with Rich Paul's, with some of the lines from Rich Paul. I admittedly am a Rich Paul fan. I really, really enjoyed the conversation. Credit to Gilbert Arenas and Josiah and that crew there, because they did a tremendous job of creating a really chill environment that they didn't ask a ton of questions. Rich just started talking. And, Rich talked about the summer he had. He had a great answer as to, what the biggest deal he signed this summer was. I thought it was an incredible answer. I really enjoyed listening. It's worth listening to the whole thing. Not the 1-minute clip that they want you to react to on social media, not the engagement trick, but listening. And it's an hour and a half. It's got some time to it. Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. And I think some of the things that people are flying off the handle about, Rich was right about. You talking about LeBron James and media scrutiny. You can say whatever you want to. Like the 24/7, 365 news cycle did not exist for Mike or Magic or any player who's in the conversation with LeBron James. It didn't exist. That's not to say Michael Jordan wasn't under scrutiny. That's absolutely not the case. He was, but not the same level in which not just LeBron James, by the way, but athletes today are. The athlete, the dynamic of being a professional athlete today is completely different than it was in 1996 or 1999. It's not the same now. Yeah. And I think that was the point Rich Paul was making. He faced a lot more scrutiny than those guys did. And that's also what I think he meant when they were talking about, because this was the other one that I saw some people flying off the handle about. Some of y'all kind of expose yourself sometimes, pause. Some of y'all, you show your ass a little bit. You show that you react to clips. You do essentially what they want you to do. You react to the clip or you react to the quote. You don't react to what was actually said. You don't listen to the entire podcast, or at least the entire portion of that discussion, because the 365 news cycle played into part of the conversation about being compared. LeBron was always compared to Mike. Mike didn't have no one to be compared to, but he's not talking about in basketball circles. Of course, Mike was compared to Magic or Julius or Larry Bird or whoever you want to be. Of course, that took place, but it took place on the local news in Chicago or in Los Angeles, maybe on SportsCenter. It wasn't a day-to-day discussion across social media or 57 different television shows and 400 different podcasts. It's not the same thing. That was Rich Paul's point. It's different. Mike didn't have to go through that with Magic and those other guys. LeBron has to go through it with Mike. That's the difference.
So when you talk about the difference or whatever, and you could tell me about this. Is he saying it's different, or this is why LeBron is better? I think that's a distinction. It's one thing to be like, yeah, it's different. Not one person is better because of it. It's just a different situation. Or is he saying, no, LeBron is the GOAT because he had to go through this?
Well, of course he's talking about LeBron being the GOAT.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a good enough reason for me. to say he's the GOAT. You can say it's a different time, but
I don't think he said again. Maybe I need to go back and listen. And maybe I'm the one who needs to do better. I didn't hear him say he's the GOAT because of this.
Okay, that's just what I'm trying to figure out. I genuinely don't know.
He didn't. No. He did not say he's the greatest of all time because of this. The conversation was about the different things LeBron James faced as a professional athlete versus, because again, we've been through this 1,000 times. There's only one conversation, and it's LeBron and Mike. That's it. With all due respect to Magic and Kareem and Steph and everybody else, the conversation is Mike and LeBron, and that's it. And that was the discussion, Mike and LeBron. And he just laid out things that Mike didn't have to face that LeBron does. And, you know, as blown out of proportion as I believe that Republicans don't wear sneakers line was, imagine if that line is said today. Like, it's completely different if that line is said today. That line feels that Republicans buy sneakers too. That line was attributed to Mike. It feels like a big deal now, but it's almost like an urban legend at this point. And I really don't think it was until The Last Dance where we learned the true origins of it, the fact that it was said, and what tone it was said in. I think it was Sam Smith. I think it was said to him. And I know he's written before about that line and how it was said, but no one cared. No one cared until he said it on The Last Dance.
Right.
Then people cared.
They still don't care. They still hold that against
true.
them.
No, it's a true story. Yeah. It's true. But imagine that line is said with a environment like today, a 24/7, everybody has an opinion, able to share it out with the world type of environment. It's completely different. Those are things LeBron faced. Those are the things LeBron faced when he called Donald Trump a jackass or something along those lines. I don't remember what the exact line was, but it was something along those lines. That's the origins of shut up and dribble. That line was directed at LeBron James.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more scrutiny for sure. The one thing that I would say that I think about is, while it's more scrutiny, I don't want to say things don't last forever anymore, because he's still facing scrutiny for the decision, which is the stupidest thing ever. Like, to me.
You know why, though? You know why that is? At least in my opinion, it's the only thing they have to hold against him.
Yeah, it's
that dude is squeaky clean. It's the only thing. Oh, really blew that. God, the selfish James. It's all they have.
It's ridiculous to me. But
and Rich even meant it. Yeah, it was. The idea was right.
There's nothing.
The idea was right. We just executed it poorly.
There was nothing wrong with it. Not one thing wrong with the decision. The execution, none of that. It was fine.
The execution,
perfectly fine.
You didn't need to raise money for the boys and girls in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Well, okay, there's that.
Like, you didn't need to do that.
There's that.
Them brothers and sisters ain't starving.
Right. There's that. So maybe that was the one.
Or was it Boys and Girls? Yeah,
Boys
and
Girls Club. Yeah. Maybe that was the one thing that was wrong, but everything else was fine. I could care less about going on TV embarrassing Cleveland. Nobody cares.
I don't give a damn about Cleveland.
No, nobody was embarrassed.
I was more angry at myself for watching Jim Gray ask a bunch of stupid questions.
Everything was fine.
Poor LeBron James sitting in that chair looking like he's about to throw up.
The thing that I would say about the news cycle thing is things go away a lot quicker than we realize. Like, it's a big deal for 3 days and people are on to something else, and we damn near don't even remember it.
Except
I don't know
LeBron.
if that would be the case with LeBron. I think they would still try to hold him accountable for certain things if he was gambling or Republicans buy shoes or something like that. But that typically is what happens in these news cycles. While it does seem like everyone is talking about and you can't escape it for like 72 hours, they just find something else.
But LeBron James doesn't cycle out of the news cycle, though.
No, it'd be different for sure.
There are people who are paid like $12 million a year, and they've built their platform off trashing LeBron James.
Yeah, I agree. I just think at some point stuff like that becomes noise. Like, nobody really cares.
You see poor Shannon yesterday.
I did.
Kept calling Stephen A. Skip. I felt so bad for him. By the way, shout out to you Shout out to Jesse and everyone listening. I got the opportunity to. I took the opportunity to go back and watch our introduction of the Insiders because I wanted to see the Chatty House's response.
Oh.
And I'm very thankful. I think you caught it, but I'm very thankful that you didn't say anything and you let it ride as I welcomed James Ham and Kyle Matson, the Insiders, to 102.5.
I did not catch that.
Wait, when did you do that?
When I introduced them.
Like the other day?
Yes.
I didn't even realize that either.
Yeah. No, Thursday. And I don't even know if anyone in the Chatty House caught it.
I didn't catch it.
I thought you did only because you looked up. Like I was just listening to it and I'm looking at the chat and it was like, it was past the initial introduction, right? But it was like, we're thrilled to welcome James Ham and Kyle Matson, the Insiders here to 102.5. And I'm looking at the response. And then I glance over at us, and you kind of had your head down, and you look up at me, and you let it go, and James let it go, like everyone let it go.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I did.
Yeah.
Well, it happens.
Big day for 102.5 last Thursday.
Big day for ESPN.
I'm James Ham with 102.5. Here's Barbie World.
It was a big day for ESPN 13.
13. Yep, the finest HBU in the city. Yeah, that was I couldn't believe, and I was just so thankful that the Chatty House didn't kill me for it. I think everyone was so happy.
Yeah, we just
it was great, but I was like, I legitimately welcomed the first show, first time in 16 years. I welcomed a new show to ESPN 1320 by welcoming them to 105.
You know, shout out
broadcast professional
to 420 hit of the day, brought to you by James Ham.
There it is.
Yeah.
Did we pick a 420 hit today?
Yeah.
Forgot what it was. Oh no, I don't know. I remember. Yeah, we was playing it on the. Yeah. We figured out how to hack the big screen in the in the cafeteria area.
Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to Rich Paul though.
He's got a book coming out in October, I think it is.
I think Rich Paul has done a really good job of creating his own career. He came in. This sounds disrespectful. I'm not trying to put off the coattails of LeBron James, which is no problem. Like LeBron was in the room. He kicked the door open for his guy, Rich Paul, to get in there. At that point, it's up to you, Rich Paul, and other people who are in this situation to go and make it your own. And I think he's done a great job of making his career and his name his own. Like he's Rich Paul himself, not LeBron James' agent or nothing like that.
That was another low key, because again, they're looking for the LeBron Mike stuff. That was another low key part of the podcast that was really, really good. Because he was asked about, I think by Gilbert, because I think they were talking about money and how, money has changed. And they were talking about, how athletes have people around them. And I thought his answer was really incredible. He was like, yo, if you're going to be around an athlete and you don't have a job, that athlete can't ever be late for practice. That athlete can't be looking for snacks or food or dinner. That athlete can't be worried about their car being full of gas or their car being clean. That house should be spotless day in and day out. Because if that's what you've chosen to do, what's your part in this? Mm-hmm. And he talks about, that's what he asks his clients, like, what's their part in this? Because if they don't have one, they have to go. Mm-hmm. And that's where, credit to Rich and Randy and Maverick, those guys come into play. They all had a part. When this all started, they had a part. And Rich was the one, and Rich was the one who was like, I don't know what my part is yet, but I'm going to try to figure it out. And that's where the stuff with Nike started happening. And that's where these different internships that he started having, that's where he started establishing some of these relationships through the channels that he was able to establish with LeBron James.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. Shout out to Rich Paul, man. He's doing a phenomenal job out there. And it's just getting started, in my opinion.
We have absolutely no news on Nick Bosa. If anything happens, of course, we'll bring that to you. I'd like to talk basketball for a few minutes outside the agent perspective. Well, We'll talk a little bit about Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Some things Ty Lue said on a podcast. Team USA lost and then won.
I watched that game
while we were away. The one that they lost.
Yeah, Lithuania was cooking in the first half.
But that's old hat, right? Like that's what they do.
They're already
That's
a good
what they
team, but
do.
I think they hit their first 9 3-pointers.
Well,
like they were.
I remember the Kings
on
hit their
fire.
first 9 3-pointers and were up by like 2. Was that Memphis? Who was that?
Memphis,
Oh,
yeah.
I remember that.
They
game.
were up by 2 and then got cold and ended up winning by 36.
Harrison couldn't miss. Harrison's hitting 3 after 3, looking around like, can we build a lead? Let's get a stop. There's also a player. I think I've written this player's name in the rundown for a week straight.
Oh,
I'm going to talk about this individual.
Malik Monk?
I'm always down to talk about Malik Monk. Always down. But no, different player, not in Sacramento.
Oh.
So we'll do that. Phone lines remain open for you, 916-909-1320. Jason Jones, final hour of the show. Steeler and KC, brought to you by Sky River Casino and Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. 13th round.
Yes, sir. Little action today. Little action.
We'll get Latrell.
13th round. What's your main man, Kenny Caraway? Shout out to my people over at Jordan Brand. Shout out to the dope ones. You already know what it is. Shout out to Cole Seamoss. Big ups to my people over there as well. We had some news this morning as Mike Coppinger and also what's my man Idek. He's the one that reported it first that Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin have agreed to a deal for a WBC lightweight fight that will likely take place either November 16th in Las Vegas or December 9th in New York City. It's a hell of a fight, man. I love this, man. I love these two young bulls getting after it. Both of them undefeated, both high prospects. Shakur is obviously going to be the favorite here. A lot of people look at Shakur as the best young fighter in the game. Frank Martin is a guy who is just as good, in my opinion, but he doesn't have the same cachet, doesn't have the same household name of somewhere Shakur Stevenson. I think it's going to be a great fight. You love to see this. These young guys getting after it with the undefeated records, getting after it early. I remember I saw a tweet over the weekend, and they said, who will lose their O first? I think it was Gervonta, Boots, Haney, and Shakur. I feel like I might have been missing somebody, but we'll just leave it at Shakur. I said Shakur would be the one to lose his O first. And this is the type of guy that could do it. Shakur's a heck of a fighter, though. I wasn't that big of a believer in Shakur early in his career when people were really hyping him up. I didn't see enough, but in the last, I don't know, handful of fights, man, I see it. He's a hell of a fighter. So I would definitely favor him easily in this fight, but I think Frank Martin is definitely going to be his best test to date. I'm not here to talk about who was the one dude he faced. Well, Oscar Valdez, that was not a test. Oscar Valdez had no chance against him. And then he faced the other brother. I forgot his name off the top of my head, though, Marine or something like that. Who wasn't a test. He wasn't on Shakur's level. I know he's a pro. I know he's a champion. He wasn't as good. I think Frank Martin will be the best test for Shakur to date, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. So big time job. Shout out to PBC as well. You know, people always talking about going to the other side of the street, making fights and all this other stuff. This is another situation where PBC has gone to the they said, hey, you can take the PBC fighter, put him on your platform just so we can make the fight happen. So I'm giving a shout out to Al Heyman and PBC for that. Because Frank Martin, PBC fighter, going over to fight on ESPN and with Top Rank. So big ups. Can't wait to see this fight. We'll talk about it as it gets closer. That's the 13th round. Yeah, y'all going to start respecting Al Heyman and PBC. We had Stephen Fulton. He did that for Stephen Fulton. He got him over there. And then he did another one too. And somebody else go over there. I'm drawing a blank right now. And now you got Frank Martin. Well, Russell, get a damn blanket. I don't care.
It's like 2 minutes, Russell. 916-909-1320. If you want to get in on the phone lines, Jason Jones coming up the final hour of the show. Let's get to our man Latrell here. Again, 916-909-1320. What's up, Latrell?
What's going on with you fellas?
What's up, big dog? How you doing, man?
All right, D-Lo, man, you hit me with the Nas Made You Look last Thursday when you introduced 1025.
See? Yeah.
Hey, I was like, these boys cooking like that? They got 2 channels already? Hey, I was shook. I was like, man, this really happened that fast for them? Way to go. And then, you know what I mean? And then when you just admitted it, I said, man, I thought I was the only one that heard that.
Yeah. That's it. Latrell, we appreciate you. I would have never known if I hadn't gone back and watched that video. And I just can't tell you how mortified I was. Like,
maybe I did hear it. I don't know. You were cooking. I didn't want to stop you. I know. Even if I did hear it, I probably wouldn't have said nothing.
Nah, it was probably one of those moments that you just let go by. Like, it was the right call, whether you heard it or not. Just kind of let it go by. But yeah, no, that happened. That happened. Well, I guess we'll bring James and Kyle over to 1025 if they want to. But
shout out to
Kyle Matson would love the 420 hit of the day.
Hey man, that's his move. That's his vibe.
I think Kyle has his own. Well, never mind.
Shout out to James Ham, aka Davey D.
Oh my God. Davey D, and you know your boy Ebro. Which you wasn't even around for that, were you?
I don't remember
Davey D,
I don't remember Ebro at
boy.
1025. Was he ever at 1025?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember on the bomb. I definitely remember Davey D though.
Okay.
If I'm correct, didn't Davey D have like a lot of hair slicked back and a mustache?
Yeah, like at one point.
Yeah, I guess that's what I remember seeing him. That's back in the day when, and I guess it's still kind of like this, when like you'd never see the people on radio.
Right.
I had no idea what these people look like.
Yeah.
I had no idea what Marcus Allen
Except
looked
Marcus
like
Allen, because Marcus Allen been on TV like his entire life.
But it took a while. Like I would hear Marcus Allen like every day. And probably when I was 14, I saw him on TV and I was like, oh, that's the dude from the radio. I hear him every day. It's back in the days when people still don't. This is different than 1025 though. I think people don't know. They won't walk down the street. Like last night I was out and nobody say, oh, you're on 1025. Like they don't see us. So they don't know.
Well, we've also been there 2 weeks. So that's going to take a little time.
Too, yeah, but I don't think
take time.
I don't know if it'll change that much.
It'll change. It'll change.
When they gonna see us? Unless they listen to both shows, when they gonna see us?
No, they gonna see us. I'm sorry. Are we not gonna be on stage at the YG show?
This is true. This is true.
No, they're gonna see us. You don't think they follow at Dilo and KC
That's
or at
true.
Damian Barling or at I'm KG?
Right. Social media is different.
Yeah.
Damian Paul, you're right.
Okay. I've been there. Like it does. You always, you always get to. I'll be really happy the first person who stops us and goes, yo, I love you guys on 1025, and maybe has no clue that we're on ESPN. Like I'll be really, really happy the first time that happens. As much as I love everyone who listens to us on ESPN 1320, as you said, you can see us.
Yeah.
We know what that looks like. If you know what we look like from 1025, it means you took the effort to go follow the different social media platforms. Shout out to the shorty who had the little smart ass remark to make from the picture I posted on the KSFM Instagram page.
What?
She said, hold on, let me
What
get
picture
it.
was it?
I took a picture at the LL show.
Oh, okay.
And
well, shout out to Big Von too. Big Von pulled up on us yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't know he was coming through.
He was asking about you too.
Well, I didn't know he was
like,
coming through.
Where'd they? I've been talking to him. He
I tried to hit him up on on Friday. He wasn't there. Oh, that's ESPN. Hang on, I managed too many accounts. I posted the picture had the caption "I need love" because I'm at the show.
Yeah.
And Shorty said, "Whose daddy is this? And do they want a stepmom?" So shout out to Princessia KL. I thought it was a bot, and then I looked at it like, oh, okay, it's not a bot. It's bot-ish, but it's not a bot. So shout out, Shorty. Appreciate it.
Yeah, big ups to her. That was when you were at the dental office.
I was at the dental office. Yeah.
One of the
root canal.
One of the most bland arenas in America.
It's absurd.
They went too far with the tech stuff. Like they wanted to like make it seem like, oh yeah, like we do all this tech stuff. It looks all nice, but just in reality, they just outsmarted themselves.
Again,
it sucks.
It's a really nice venue that makes no logistical sense. Like I've never walked onto a concourse that I can't walk around.
That's the one that
I literally went left and there was a wall. Like you can't go this way.
That's crazy.
It's awful. Like I think Jesse, you said it, but they like outsmarted themselves.
I heard they have like floor level suites, right? So if you have floor seats, you have your own private area, like under the stands a little bit.
Yeah, the Chase Club.
Yeah, but like individual, like how there's suites and you got 10 people that can be in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's your little, designated room for your 10 people to get in there. And they have like a wall that shows a live shot of what it looks like at your seats. So like if you're not at your seats, I can still see what it would look like if I was at my seat. Like, come on, man. Very cool, but why?
I got an idea. This is just me. How about you knock some of these goddamn walls down and allow people to actually see into the venue? How about that?
They're gonna do that eventually, if they can.
Man, I
don't know if structurally they can, but they're gonna copy Go to One Center at some point, do it like that.
Outside is beautiful. The water is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, once again, everything's nice. It's not trashy.
No,
it's nice.
It's dumb.
It's bland.
Dumb. It's dumb. You shouldn't have to walk down 7 hallways to get out of it. Hallways, like actual hallways.
It's a hotel lobby with a basketball court inside.
That's it.
Pretty much out here looking like the Sheridan. That's how it look. Look like when we went to go interview Pilo.
Well, shout out Pilo.
Hey, did you hear? Shout out Pilo for real. Did you hear him during college football on Sunday night?
I didn't. I heard him at the concert on Friday.
Yeah,
they went hard when Put Me on Something came on. Yeah,
at least 20 times on Sunday night. California on my license plate. He's on the Wingstop commercial.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw the Wingstop commercial
again. I said, look at Pilo. Big ups to him. I said, damn. Let me hold $1.
Yeah, Pilo, boy, be cooking. Team USA bounced back with a nice win this morning after losing to Lithuania on Sunday. You say you watched that game against Lithuania.
I did. I think Anthony Edwards ended up with 32 points. I didn't watch it live. I woke up Sunday, didn't really have a whole lot to do but watch the baby. So watched her turn the game because I saw somebody alluding to the fact that they had lost. I wasn't sure, but I was like, oh, let me watch the game. And they were getting smacked in that first half.
Yeah.
Like they had no answer for Lithuania, but then they battled back. If I was watching the game live, I probably would have thought, okay, they're going to rebound and win this game, but they can never really get over the hump. And they end up losing to Lithuania. And I don't know what that means.
Doesn't mean anything. It's not that big of a deal.
If they see them again, does Lithuania have the numbers? Is Lithuania the best, the second best team? Canada,
better fill these hands if they.
This is what I
play them again.
This is what I think it means. I think we're at the time in this basketball journey of ours where the USA can't just have anybody play these other teams across the country and guaranteed win. That doesn't mean they can't go. They're not going to go undefeated, but that doesn't mean they can't go undefeated and win a gold medal or win a World Cup or whatever. They still can with this team, in now or in the Olympics. It doesn't matter. But it used to be a time when it was like, it don't matter who we sitting over there. We smacking them up. I don't think that's where we're at anymore in basketball.
Yeah, that time didn't last very long. Like 92, 96. I cannot remember the 2000 team.
That was Vince Carter jumping over Freddie Weiss.
Okay. I assume they won?
Yeah.
And then everything kind of like fell
They
apart
lost
after
in
that.
04. I think they lost in a World Cup.
Well, they
02.
They did. Yeah, they lost in 02. They
Paul
lost
Pierce
in 04.
was on that team.
I think they lost in 06.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
I know Paul Pierce wasn't on the Redeem team. I know that. Was he? Wait, was he? No, he wasn't. Paul Pierce wasn't on that team.
Oh, they got the real ballers.
You guys having fun here or what?
It's not me. I'm just recapping the chain of events here. So I think the just sending NBA players thing has always been a little bit overblown. Like the Dream Team is obviously a one of one moment. I think history will show, the 2008 version is the closest to that 1992 version that we'll ever see again. And that was kind of an attempt to set everything right in the amount of players that were declining, not wanting to be a part of particularly the Olympics. I don't think this maybe, and I guess this is just my fault. I don't think this team is bad.
They're not bad at all.
I don't think this is this. I don't have an issue with this squad. Could there be like, when next year rolls around, are we hearing whispers of Steph and LeBron? Like, sure, but I don't know that there's like massive overhauls that this roster could make. I don't feel like this isn't C talent.
I think you could see. Trying to think how many people would not be on this team if people decided.
Not trying to be funny or clown. I think he's played really well. Like Austin Reeves probably wouldn't be on it.
Austin Reeves, Lithuania was. Whew. We're picking on Austin Reeves. I heard he bounced back today though and had a good game. He's had a good tournament. He's been
Good. He's had a really good tournament.
Yeah, he's been good in the tournament. But
like of guys
he's
who
one
are
guy I'm thinking of
realistically going to be on it. Like I think Ty will be on it. Because I don't think De'Aaron's going to do it. Like I think Tyrese will be on it.
So I got the roster right now. I think Walker Kessler could be gone. Bobby Portis could be gone. Cam Johnson could be gone. That might be about it.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
4 or 5 guys.
That's not. that bad.
Assuming like say Steph said he wanted to play, Dame wanted to play, or
LeBron wanted to play.
LeBron, I wouldn't even go and use LeBron because he's the creme de la creme. But if Anthony Davis said he wanted to play,
so is Steph.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think LeBron might be done. What do you got? 3 gold medals?
4 puts him in rarefied air. He has 8, 12, and 16.
Mm-hmm. I think you said something to the effect of
who the hell was on that 2020?
You said we hadn't seen anything like the Dream Team since the Redeem Team. Wasn't there a discussion that 16 might have been the best team?
16? I don't think so. To me, it's always been 2008.
There was I think it was 16. They were like, yo, 16 might be the one. 16
well, let me
might
look.
be the one. I feel like there was a discussion between those 3 teams.
No,
it wasn't just those 2.
No. 2016 United States men's basketball team. Jimmy, KD, DeAndre, Lowry. No, Harrison, DeMarcus. No,
it wasn't that one.
No.
Didn't LeBron and KD play together? It was
maybe
another
it was
LeBron
12.
team.
Maybe it was 12.
Maybe it was 12 then, because Chris Paul was.
But
there,
again, no,
Dwight Howard.
like no. Tyson Chandler, KD, LeBron, Russ, Darren Williams, Iggy, Kobe, Kevin Love, James Harden, Chris Paul, Anthony Davis.
Team.
Come on, man. No, it's 2008. That's it.
I thought it was another team.
2008's Boozer, J Kidd, LeBron, Darren Williams, Michael Redd, Dwayne Wade, Kobe, Dwight, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Tayshaun Prince, Carmelo Anthony.
That team go hard.
Maybe you have a discussion about 2012. I mean, you got Harden on it now, Anthony Davis, Chris Paul's still there, Kobe's still there, Darren's still there.
Maybe it was 12.
LeBron, and now you've added KD. I don't know.
KD with Kobe, LeBron, and Chris Paul. Well, yeah, maybe it was 12.
I still
12 go crazy.
I still think it's 08, in my opinion. I still think it's 08. See, now I need to see who was on that 2020 squad that played in 2021.
It was
Bam,
Dame.
Book, KD, Jeremy Grant, Draymond. Come on, man, stop. Drew Holiday, Keldon Johnson, Zach LaVine, Dame JaVale, Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum. Not a bad squad right there.
No, not at all.
And then we'll see
The
who's
inflection in the voice. No,
it's a fine team. They won the gold.
they won the gold.
They won the gold, and that's what matters.
But yeah, shout out to Team USA. I think this is a good team, though. I think this is a good team. I do think they haven't played the best competition. Lithuania is the best team that they played, and I think I heard Lithuania got eliminated today by Serbia. So I don't know. Like I don't know what that would look like if Jokic and all these other guys are playing, but the Team USA could say the same thing if Steph Curry was playing. Like, what would that look like?
Yeah, we could do that all day, and the only time it's going to come into a factor is 2024 next year because Jokic probably isn't passing on the Olympics. I know the FIBA World Cup is a big deal, but it's not the Olympics. And like we just said this, LeBron, 08, 12, 16, 4 gold medals. That's rarefied air in a team sport.
Yeah.
Like that's Carmelo got.
I think he got 4, didn't he?
Carmelo get 4?
He might have got 4.
Because 2004 didn't win a gold medal, did they?
No.
But I feel like he had maybe. Does he have 4 medals?
Got 8. Yeah, maybe it's just 3.
Yeah, he has 3.
3
Okay,
gold medals.
Yeah, 4 is rarefied air,
Yeah.
and
LeBron got that one too.
LeBron can go get that one. He got that extra medal too that nobody wants. Yeah, he got that too.
Yeah. So,
I mean, they use that 3. I mean, for especially in a team sport, and that's special. I mean, 4 gold medals, regardless of the sport, is special just because of the longevity involved.
Right.
That's a lot of years. That's a lot of years for those guys right there.
They this team came back, beat the hell out of who they play. Italy today. Beat the brakes off them boys.
Who USA did?
Yeah. They weren't playing.
Yeah, 08-12. He got that 04 Athens bronze medal.
Oof.
Yeah, that's ugly.
Felt so bad for my guys AI and Stephon Marbury.
That's tough. That's tough. You know who I've been wanting to talk about for like a week now because there was a lot written about him. There's been a lot said about him. Shout out to the Hall of Famer, Mark Spears. It felt like there was a rush of stories on him last week. That's Ben Simmons. There was a lot written about, and Mark Spears really kind of spearheaded a lot of this about he's 100%, he's healthy, he's locked in, he's excited for the season, he's excited to play basketball, and like I think we've been pretty consistent with this. We hope Ben Simmons in a good spot. Hope he can play. Hope he can play. Hope he's healthy. The whole deal. My question pertains more kind of to like from a basketball perspective because I like Brooklyn. You know how much I like Mikal Bridges, who I think led the team in scoring this morning. If hypothetically Ben Simmons is 100%, if hypothetically Ben Simmons is able to play 80 to 85% of the season, does that mean something for Brooklyn? Because I feel like it does.
Yeah. I mean, so you're getting 100% Ben Simmons health wise, what type of production as a player? Like, are you getting back to Philly? When he was that dude in Philly, or are you just getting him healthy enough to play? Because if you're getting like Philly when I forgot who they played in that first round series where they won, but forgot who it was before they played Boston. Then he looked phenomenal. That's a game changer. I think it was Brooklyn, matter of fact. That's a game changer. But if you're just getting healthy Ben Simmons, like when he played last year, but he wasn't that dynamic player.
What if
I
you're
don't know
getting
how much-
something in between?
Well, first of all, it'll do nothing but help. So there's that to answer that question. It can't hurt you to have that Ben Simmons there at all. Will it elevate you? I don't think so. My first thought is I don't think it'll elevate you in the East.
Okay, we'll dive into that a little
I
deeper.
think
Let's get.
I think he can help though. Like if you get him playing 67 games and he's healthy going into the playoffs, I mean I think he can be a help for sure.
Okay, I got the perfect follow up. Let's get Leezy first. 916-909-1320. What's up, Leezy?
Yo, D-Lo and Casey, what's good, guys?
HL.
Hey, what's poppin', man? Hey, just wanted to call in with some comments and questions. Hey, I couldn't agree with you guys more. Hey, I've been to the Chase Center, the dental office.
Yep.
Bro, it's not the place to be, man. They tried to steal Golden One Center's recipe. It wasn't hitting.
No, I don't think they tried to steal Golden One Center's recipe at all. That's the problem. They tried to be too smart, and they built a maze inside the Chase Center that doesn't allow any of what's happening in the lower bowl to escape out. Like you can't go get nachos there.
No,
you're gonna miss everything.
No. Yeah,
it's trash.
That fake Picasso is nice though.
This is a nice fake Picasso.
Yeah,
might be a real
but yeah, no,
could be.
No, Chase Center ain't the place
Stupid
to be,
place
man.
to hang it.
Yeah, and Team USA, man, they're missing a real big man. Like the guys that got at center, it shows whenever they play, they're lacking size. Steve Kerr isn't using Brandon Ingram enough. I don't know what's going on. But the real reason why I called, guys, I wanted to talk about JaVale McGee. Do you guys think he'll be able to fill that role that Rashawn Holmes used to have? You know, a guy that can hit the floaters and play a little defense. And also my comment was I totally forgot his mom actually played for the Monarchs. That was a whole big thing I totally forgot about. But yeah, do you think he can play that Rashawn Holmes role?
Yeah, I do.
I think so. I don't know if he's going to play as much as Rashawn Holmes.
Yeah.
But I think he can. I'm super looking forward to seeing him out there. My NBA buddy that I talked to, he hit me up. He's like, I think JaVale's going to play a lot.
I think JaVale's winning this training camp battle.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think JaVale's winning this training camp battle. And I feel like it's now. I feel like it might be JaVale and Neemias now. Because I feel like Alex Len played really well in his last run of the season, but is that what you want? Like JaVale and Alex Len, like does that make as much sense as and I'll reframe it because I don't want to pick on Alex Len. Does that make as much sense as JaVale or Alex Len with Neemias Queta as much as it makes sense JaVale and Alex? To me, it makes sense to have Neemias Queta in the fold somehow, unless, and this could be an uncomfortable truth, unless as an organization you're sold, he ain't it.
Yeah.
He ain't it, which we've, questioned for months now.
Yeah.
Their opinion on.
Yeah, I first of all, I agree definitely. Like, I ain't even know he not in the battle, in my opinion. He's the backup guy. These other guys are fighting for a roster spot. Alex Len, Lawrence Noel, and Neemias Queta. I look at JaVale and I saw, like I said, my homeboy got me thinking about this. He said JaVale alone will elevate the defense to possibly top 15 defense. I said, wow.
I'm sorry. Run that back again?
He said JaVale being on that team will elevate the defense to possibly be in the top 15 defense.
You said this is your NBA person that told you? Was it Jerry West? Is this Jerry West? Because I know those are the circles you roll in.
My boy Jerry West, man, on Winning Time, man.
Bro, this new season is fire. Oh my God, this new season is so good. Some of it's cheesy. Like when Riles is looking in the mirror and he just gets his hands wet and he pulls his hair back and he looks at it and kind of nods. It's like, oh, all right.
They're killing it.
All right. This season is so good.
You see Jeff Perelman or whatever feel so bad. I mean, this is terrible. But he's like on Twitter constantly begging, like, please watch the show because if we don't get the certain amount of ratings, they're gonna can it because there's no actors.
Oh,
Like he's like, please, like we need the numbers bad if we want to keep this going, or else.
well,
we're gonna have to
I
get
don't.
rid of
I
it.
don't think I understand.
I don't know either, but that's what he keeps saying.
How does that work?
Would they be the only ones to
Well, like,
record or what? I
yeah,
don't
like
know,
they ain't gonna work. They can't. At least I
but
don't.
poor guy continued like, please, please, we need the number.
I wonder how that works because it's all based off of what Jeff Pearlman wrote, but obviously they're not taking pages from his book. So
Right.
you give it to like a screenplay writer and then they lay it out.
Maybe so.
I don't know. It's good though.
Brian-
This season's so good.
Brian Cruz says Paul Westhead is it. Paul Westhead looks like an idiot. I'd be
he's
furious.
wild.
He looks like a complete idiot.
That dude is the worst, man. He's so annoying, just doing everything backwards.
He is.
Oh,
he-
we want David
Everybody
Thompson?
sees
Yeah.
everything except for him.
yeah.
Pat Riley's like, bro, you're gonna get us fired.
Yeah.
Even his daughter was like, hey, you're about to
getting
get fired.
Yeah.
So you'll get the chicken, no steak.
Mm.
Gotta start saving.
We'll come back. Jason Jones set to join us here shortly.
Oh, we got something that I've been meaning to talk to you about all weekend.
Oh, I don't know what this is, but we will find out when Dealing with KC return here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. It's a very anticlimactic Ben Simmons conversation.
I like Ben Simmons. Well, I want to see him do well.
Do you want me to create a playlist or do you know how to do it for the insiders? Yeah, when it finishes, we can. Maybe it's done. Okay, I'll create one right now. This is the insiders. Yep, insiders. New playlist. New playlist. With James Ham and Kyle Madsen. To noon. Create. Boom. Yeah. Have you opened up the other one yet? Okay. I didn't want to open it because you should set it up like with your stuff. But yeah, we can download those other apps whenever you're ready. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Whatever helps, man. It makes this work. I just know how much easier it is. Dude, it's incredible. Russ, we'll talk a little wrestling right here. I didn't really like Payback. I actually fell asleep during the main event. I wanted that to be. There was nothing wrong with it. I just didn't. I don't know. I wasn't really involved in Seth and Shinsuke. I like the Jey Uso reemergence, and man, it sure feels like that feels like it would make complete sense. But I like that little move right there. That was a nice little unexpected twist. Oh, right on, Michigan. Oh, whoops, right on, Michigan. Hope you had a good time in New York. Yeah, I think it had been raining there.
Oh,
that can sometimes create a little mustiness.
I didn't watch on Saturday whenever the pay-per-view was, but so that's it. Jey Uso was just on Raw, and that's it with him and Jimmy. And
so
stuff.
it's weird, yeah. Like Cody came out, was like, I pulled some strings and got Jey Uso over to Raw, which was like, all right. But they did a good job of making you feel like there's something to this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hope our plan works.
Mm.
Like I hope essentially that one of those I hope I can trust you things.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, there's more to this story, but what is it? All right. And then I think they said yesterday, I didn't watch, but they said something along the lines of someone's getting traded from Raw to SmackDown to even this out. And James was speculating a minute ago, like it would make sense if it was Cody.
Be hilarious if they team up him and Jey, and then Jey just beats him up again, like they did with Brock.
Jesus Christ, Ramsey. Nine 909-1320. Just get Ramsey's random minute here on the show. Hi, Ramsey. Sorry I missed you this weekend.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. No, I just wanted to call in because we got something special coming on tonight about 5 o'clock on ESPN for the culture. They've been out in New York at the U.S. Open, but we got Francis Tiafoe and Ben Shelton playing against each other tonight. Two black men in the U.S. Open quarterfinals. Sad that it had to be. Sad one of them has to lose, but we at least going to have at least one black man in the U.S. Open semifinals.
Well,
I hope they don't put them brothers in the parking lot like in that movie.
Man, that was sad.
Kenny and I was watching something the other day, and they zoomed out, and it was like, yo, they're not even inside. They got them set up on the outside to watch.
Makeshift, they made tennis courts in that parking lot, like drew lines with chalk for that one.
Hope they don't put our brothers out there.
Yeah, man. So
that's a good call. That's a good call, Ramsey.
You know who the big loser was this weekend?
No.
Major League Baseball. Nobody cared.
Wow, that's
nobody cared. They're gonna have to. This is when they start losing people. This is when they start losing people. Football season about to start. No, nobody checking for baseball until October 1st. Or the last weekend of the season.
Only thing we checking for is Shohei Ohtani going to be a two-way pitcher or a two-way player moving forward?
Yes, I think that's done.
His agent said it is absolutely not. Wow. And that's what he has to say.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Make those two-way offers, baby. Because my client is doing both.
Yeah, man. Big loss for baseball. A big loss for the Giants. I mean, they lose 3 or 4 to the Padres. People coming around to what I've been saying, like, I gotta go. This brand of baseball stinks.
Well, you might be gone when the season's over. Who knows? I don't think he will be.
No, he probably won't. He's not going nowhere.
Is it bad if they sneak into the wild card spot? Does that save his job?
I mean,
his job's probably not in danger anyways. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think
your personal preference is he be gone, but
I just can't stand his brand of baseball. Like
what's his brand? Explain it to me.
Like it's looking for cheap buys, and like
didn't they cut the guy?
Yeah, AJ Pollock. They traded him at the deadline. The only move they made, they released him.
McGovey Chronicles said the Giants traded for the worst player in Major League Baseball.
Dude got traded to the San Francisco Giants and didn't even get to go to San Francisco. They just sent him to Sacramento after that.
Wow.
They got, man, it's like these bargain basement deals, like 1-2 year deals of guys like a Jock Peterson who, like, he's cool. He has some moments. He should be like your 7th or 8th best player on your team. But the Giants, like, they really need him to be the 2nd best player. It's just little stupid stuff like that. And I'm sick of it.
It feels like they sign guys you hope catch fire, kind of like the 105 or however many wins it was season.
That's it. That's all they do. And they say, well, the numbers say, well, excuse me. Well, the numbers say that if you put this guy in the right situation and use a Vazorp here at Oracle Park, then that should be enough to get you into the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, it's a crapshoot and anything can happen. Your goal is just to get there. No, Farhan, it's not. Like, you want to be a good team throughout the season.
Okay. So it's a good strategy. It's to be good throughout the season.
Oh, man.
Still in the hunt, though. It's still there. The Giants are still there. CM Punk is not. AEW fired CM Punk over the weekend after their latest investigation just determined, he needs to be fired. It turns out our entire locker room appears to hate him. His return and his stint with AEW was such an epic failure. It was so disappointing, especially after that phenomenal moment on the night of their debut Friday show.
Is that Dynamite or something?
I think it was. Is there a show called Rampage?
Yeah, Friday night is Rampage.
Yeah, I think it was the debut of that show. It was in Chicago. It was flawless. It was everything you wanted it to be. And then you see, okay, they're doing the slow build, got them working with a young talent. All right, and then you kind of sitting like they're really taking they're not really going anywhere with him. Like, it's not really anything happening. And then stuff starts to happen, and then this isn't very good. Then he gets hurt. Then he comes back. Then he gets in a fight. Then he gets suspended. Then he comes back. Then he gets in another fight. And now he's fired. He seems like a miserable human being.
Yeah.
And AEW said they had enough. And I'm confident WWE will say thanks, but no thanks. They welcome everyone back.
Yeah.
I do not think they are welcoming him back.
I had a takeover the weekend. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know.
I have a pretty good idea what it is. I see it here in my notes.
CM Punk is the most overrated wrestler of all time.
Now, explain.
People talk about him as if he's a legend. He's not a legend. He's not. People talk about, and like one of the guys, like when I put this on Twitter over the weekend, they're like, yo, if you go through his ROH stuff or ROH and that, that's great. Bro, ain't nobody worried about Connie Hawkins at the Rucker. All right. We're talking about the NBA. All right. With all due respect to ROH. All right. Talking about the big leagues. And when you get to the big leagues, I just think he's overrated. Now, mind you, when I say overrated, that doesn't mean he's not good. That doesn't mean he wasn't a star. But the way people talk about CM Punk, like he's not a legend. He's not a legend.
So there's a lot. Like, he had a lengthy career before that famous promo. The promo changed everything. The promo, had mainstream media talking about him. Bill Simmons, different talk shows. Like, it brought WWE to ESPN. It brought WWE, back to the forefront. There was a sense of realism to what he said, and there was a lot of realness to the situation. And then you had the incredible moment at the Allstate Arena for Money in the Bank. And then, as he's done a time or two, there have been different points in all this where Hunter just kind of killed it. Like he and I think in between those two things is where Hunter just like wiped this whole thing out. And he had a legendary moment that changed like how he was perceived, because he was kind of perceived a certain way until that promo. And that promo was so legendary. It's not that different than Austin 316. It catapulted him into an entirely different stratosphere. But his run there didn't last very long. And so part of his legend is the absence, which I think was 7 years. It was a long time.
Yeah.
Part of his story is the Barry Sanders element. He was really good, and you could argue he was hitting a peak when he left. You just like, forget it. And part of the sad part is, part of his story is, he left, the 7 years away, the return to a new company. But now it ends with, that return to the new company was a disaster because he was a prickly old man.
And I'll even go a step further. I'm just going in on CM Punk right now. That whole promo and stuff, like when you and I think I understand what you're saying. I think you'll understand what I'm saying. Austin 316 says, I just whooped your ass. That was Stone Cold Steve Austin creating something organically. That was him that I'm going off with. CM Punk essentially just preyed on the fact that adult wrestlers were tired of John Cena. And that's all that was. That wasn't, I'm a great character, I've got charisma. You just saw, okay, there's an opening where people are tired of John Cena, and I'm going to be the anti-Cena. And that's what that promo was. That's all it was.
So, but I'm confused. Like, what's wrong with that?
Like Austin was like real talent, in my opinion. Like, I've got a character that's really talented. I'm about to turn this up and do good. He's just like, oh, I mean.
So if we're doing that, let's tell the whole story, Doc. Let's be
we should
fair
tell
to
the whole
this,
story,
because there's been this narrative about Austin 316 says, I just whipped your ass, and the next day there were Austin 316 times everywhere. That's cap. There was not.
Yeah.
That promo took place in June. You know when people started giving a crap about Stone Cold Steve Austin?
WrestleMania, the following year?
October, because October, or it might have been late September, but September, October, somewhere around there, when he started, if you put the letter S in front of the word Hitman, you have my exact opinion of Bret Hart. So exactly what CM Punk did to John Cena is what Stone Cold did to Bret Hart. I know the narrative is there were Austin 316 signs everywhere. No, there weren't. Go back and watch. He wasn't even on SummerSlam. It wasn't until the feud with Bret Hart that he exploded. It wasn't then until he stopped cutting. It wasn't about Austin 316, and that's the bottom line. It was when he started going at Bret. Then it was like, yo, that guy's bad. That's exactly what happened with CM Punk.
Do you think people were tired of Bret Hart the way they were tired of
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't remember that.
Yo, Bret turned heel. Bret turned heel like 4 months later. He turned part of the WrestleMania thing is that Bret turned heel at WrestleMania.
Right. I don't think
because they were booing him. That's why he turned heel.
I don't think it's the same as Cena.
No, I think I've never made the correlation before. It's damn near exactly the same.
Now, to your point,
John Cena, booing John Cena was a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit for television.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who ever went to a live show at Arco Arena or in Davis or in Stockton, they'll tell you if John Cena's there, there's no let's go Cena sucks. If there's no cameras, they went nuts for John Cena. That's when I said last week, I want to make a big deal. John Cena's going to be at the Golden One Center. Yo, that's a big deal. He's going to get one of the biggest reactions you've ever heard because people just don't know when they're going to see him anymore. Booing him was a bit.
So I look at CM Punk, and this is to your point, maybe Triple H didn't allow him to build upon that moment the way Stone Cold was allowed to build upon his moment. But we can only deal in what happened.
Wrestled Kevin Nash, for God's sakes. Kevin Nash was like 50 years old at the time.
We can only deal with what happened. CM Punk didn't do it. CM Punk, he don't have no moments, man.
CM Punk.
He don't have no moments.
CM Punk.
All his moments are in Chicago.
CM Punk had damn near a 3-year run as the champion. Or not 3-year one. He had a 300 some. I don't even know find out how long CM Punk's run was. It was over a year.
Didn't move the needle.
Man, I disagree.
So you
like
so
I think
the original statement. I think CM Punk is the most overrated wrestler of all time. You disagree with?
I do.
Who's the most overrated in your opinion?
The most overrated wrestler of all time.
I don't think you'll find one bigger than Punk.
Probably Bret Hart.
Brett's not overrated. I'm not going to do that. Brett's not overrated.
Punk had it for 434 days too.
No.
Don't say The Rock.
No, that's wrong.
The Rock. We've been over this before. The Rock stuff doesn't age well. It doesn't age well. Like the stuff he did in '98 sounds so dumb.
Bro, you better give back those energy drinks.
Like yo, who's a bigger Rock fan than me?
Rock ain't overrated.
I think
Okay.
Hulk Hogan's overrated.
Hulk Hogan's not overrated.
80s
Hulk Hogan's not over.
He's
Hulk
not
Hogan's not overrated.
Somebody tried to make that analogy as well. No,
Hulk Hogan's not
like
overrated.
Like Hollywood Hulk is cool, but 80s.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
That doesn't age well.
Here it is. The most overrated wrestler of all time is Ric Flair, and here's why. For reasons of what you just said. All of this Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair, the two biggest stars of the 80s. No, I'm sorry. I live in Sacramento, California. Why the hell do I give a crap about what's going on in the Carolinas? Because the wrestling that I'm watching happens in Sacramento. It happens in New York, happens in Florida, happens in Michigan, because I'm watching WWE. The two biggest stars of the 80s were Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. Well, it wasn't Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair.
This is a loaded statement, Pauls. Ric Flair ages, if you don't think The Rock ages well today, Ric Flair is the complete opposite.
Oh yeah, Ric Flair ages beautifully.
The complete opposite. So he can't be overrated just off of that. You can say he was ahead of his time with all the stuff we talking about, Rolex wearing, all this other, like he was ahead of his time.
He could
so
be, but
he can't be overrated.
He wasn't he wasn't one of the biggest stars of the 80s though. To me, you ain't even a big. You can't stake your claim as one of the biggest stars in professional wrestling unless you did it in WWE.
I'm gonna use one of your lines. You can tell the story of wrestling without mentioning CM Punk.
Yep, I agree.
And I think a lot of people look at him like you can't tell the story.
You can.
That's why I say he's overrated.
Right over CM
Once
Punk.
again, doesn't mean he's bad or didn't have a run or anything like that.
There's
I'm
lot
saying
of
overrated.
So because of his present situation, you can't. But there's a lot of Triple H stuff that doesn't need to be acknowledged. Like to me, when you talk about eras, you talk about not being able to tell. See, you have Hogan,
mm-hmm.
then you have Rock and Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
And then to me, you don't have nothing till Cena.
No, don't do that to DX. Don't do that to DX. I know, I get it.
I don't need,
but DX, especially the first incarnation of it.
The first incarnation was dope, but it was 6 months long.
Yeah,
it was 6 months long. People remember that hokey stuff with they took a tank. Like, bro, that was a Jeep. What are you talking about? The DX Army? It was a Jeep in Norfolk, Virginia. Get out of my face. What are you talking about? That stuff was so
that's part
hokey.
of the story, though. That's part of the story.
It's part of the to the victor goes the spoil, man. I guess that's how it works, because they could tell this story however they want to. Like, oh, it was a monumental moment for WWE. No, it wasn't. Like, it was a cool moment. Y'all were already beating the hell out of them. Like, it didn't matter.
When DX, when they DX started when they were losing, though, and they're part of what got them winning.
No, DX started when they were going back and forth.
Okay,
I think because I think that the moment they won, I did not mean for this to go on for 25 minutes.
Me neither.
The moment that WWE got that first, snapping the 82 weeks, 83 weeks, 84 weeks, whatever it was, that was the night Austin and Vince McMahon did that. They were going to have a match. It was going to be Vince's first match, and the whole show built to this match. Yeah. And then Dude Love came out and interfered. And so that was, I guess that all happened around the same time, because the DX stuff was in the same general vicinity as that. Maybe Punk is I'm not going to die on this hill. I don't care about this dude.
Punk overrated, man.
No. Okay. Now that's different. Maybe I'm not going to argue against him being overrated. I don't know if he's the most overrated. He was a very good wrestler.
He's a good wrestler. Like all encompassing. Like, he was good. Nothing more than that. People try to, jump out the window. He was just good.
If we're going off of hype, isn't Ultimate Warrior just the most overrated then?
That's a good
call. Okay, that's yeah. That's on point.
But Warrior was a movement, though.
He didn't. No, but it wasn't though. Like, he didn't move the like once the change happened, he didn't move the needle.
What change?
Of Hogan to Warrior. That's why they went back to Hogan a year later.
Yeah,
that's why Sergeant Slaughter beat him.
That's fair. That's fair. But leading up to that, that was like Ali Frazier. Like, whose side are you on? I'm a Warrior. No, that was That was real heat.
No, it was a big, I'm kind of with Jesse. He's a little overrated.
I'm not. No, I don't disagree.
He's a little overrated.
I don't
Punk,
disagree with
and calling Punk overrated is fine, but calling him the most overrated in history, I can't
Warrior's
wrap my
a good
hand.
one. Warrior's a
can't
good
wrap
one.
I don't know if Punk
I don't
is-
agree with Flair, but Warrior's a good one.
I haven't been really
And I
sour
don't
on.
agree with The Rock.
I've been really sour on.
Settle
Ric,
down.
Yeah, I take that back. I've been really sour on Ric Flair lately. I don't know
Understandably,
why.
no, I do know why.
Are we sure Punk's overrated? He's just not that he does like he has a bad attitude.
I
Because
when
like
I
he's
say
still he's still entertaining when he's out there. It's just only out there for about a week and then he gets
well,
suspended
when I
again.
say overrated, there are people that will tell you, like they were telling me this when I made that tweet, that CM Punk is no, you're bugging. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. No, he's not.
he was on that path, but he never
It just all depends how you look at this. Like Flair was the total package, right? He could wrestle, he could cut a promo. Like the greatest wrestler, if we're just talking in ring, is probably Bryan Danielson. Like that dude is flawed. Like he doesn't have bad matches. Like he's incredibly entertaining. But I'm not clamoring to hear what Bryan Danielson says.
Right, well, that's the other thing. People are like, you should see his ROH stuff. Yeah,
Not ROH. He did it
Juventud
in
Guerrero
WWE.
could probably wrestle really well too. I don't care. Juventud Guerrero could do some flips. Okay, who cares?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like you can wrestle, that's fine. So can everyone else in this locker room. Can you cut a promo?
What's the Mike?
I don't
Steele
know.
thing
Heel
about
Daniel Bryan stuff leading into the
No, no,
Kofi
he's
Kingston?
great.
Yo, that was fire.
But he also, I mean, come on, you can't. Where's the story again? You can't talk about the story of wrestling without talking about the Yes Movement.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like he did that.
I think we're on the same side. What are you
No,
getting
we
mad
are.
at me for?
We are.
Well, why are you using that tone then?
No, because people talk about
you use that high voice like you arguing with me.
No, because I talk about people talking about Punk's wrestling skills. I'm like, that's fine. Once again, Juventud Guerrero could do a Hurricane Rana. Okay, so what?
It's the Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, that reminds when people like used to try to tell us like, oh yeah, Cesaro's great. He's great. Like, no, this dude sucks. He's so
Cesaro.
boring. He's so boring. You're like, oh, he's in AEW. Who cares? Who cares? He stinks.
Cesaro doesn't suck. Come on, man.
Bro, people, oh yeah, Cesaro, he's so good. Yeah, push him. No, he stinks. He's horrible. That dude just wrestles.
Cesaro's very nice.
I don't care about your Hurricane Rana. Okay.
Cesaro was playing Ring Around the Rosie with people. Oh yeah, he's so great.
Yeah,
Man, what did Cesaro do to you?
That's just so what people
He
always
was doing a 1980s move, man. That's what they
I just remember people would always be, oh yeah, he's so great. He's this, he's that. No, he stinks.
Tell Cesaro catching strays.
Probably a nice guy, but
You can tell the story of wrestling without Cesaro. You can skip over that. Yeah, Daniel Bryan does have a unique place in history. I'm trying to figure out if you could do it without Punk, and I think you can.
He had that one moment, really.
It's
He
a
just had that
moment, but what did it lead to? Like the Yes Movement, there's so much validity to that because it's not what they wanted to do. It's the only time I can think of as a fan that they had to change what they were doing because the crowd was so emotionally against it. Like they brought Batista back and the crowd was like, nah, we ain't doing this. You giving us Batista and Randy Orton at WrestleMania? Absolutely not. And they were so vehemently against it that they changed it. Well, this one really got away from us.
Kofi got a bigger moment than Punk.
Kofi got a more
All right,
important
I'm
moment.
reaching. I'm reaching.
Now, Kofi got a
I'm
more
podding right
important-
now.
Kofi got a more important moment.
I'm podding.
this is why Danny in San Francisco left.
It's probably why. That's a good call. This is why Danny quit.
He'd be
He's
really
like,
mad because it's September.
Boy,
He'd be like, this could happen in July. Not
Regular season starts in 2 days, and we're talking about whether CM Punk is overrated.
Danny somewhere listening. That shot clock hasn't gone off yet, huh? Jackasses.
Nick Bosa might not play week 1, and we got Cesaro airtime.
I don't know what's left there to say about Nick Bosa.
Man,
sign a contract or don't. Like, what do you want me to do about it?
Both parties are so frustrating to me. Let's get this done.
There's one party that's in the wrong in the situation.
No, there's not.
I'm sorry. Are you podding who?
The 49ers. They're clearly in the wrong with it.
Okay. Let's put. People haven't seen your new camera view yet on this show. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and run that back.
The 49ers are in the wrong in this situation. Pay Nick Bosa what he's worth.
You're trying to pay him.
No, don't pay him as if he's the best defensive lineman or whatever, or defensive end. Pay him as if he's the best defensive player in the league. I get there's Max Crosby's and all that, but if you're the 49ers, in your mind, you think Nick Bosa is the best in the league. Pay him like he's worth.
But
it's arguable.
Isn't that what they're doing?
They're essentially, yes, except for Aaron Donald. There's one person that he's probably not better than.
It's an issue
that they're not paying him.
It's an issue because he's not going to play week 1. Is that $2 million really worth that? The $2 or $3 million.
That's the same thing to Nick Bosa.
He's got the leverage, so it doesn't matter what. Like he's got the leverage. The 49ers hurt if he doesn't play. Pay him the extra $2 or $3 million.
He don't. See, then you get me in the front office mode. He ain't got all the leverage. You could just not play. Have you seen your contract?
He's not going to play, and then those guys on the defensive end or defensive line aren't going to do anything.
All right, don't play.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
Just see what happens.
What? All right. This really got bad. Let's fix it. And the sad thing is, Jason Jones is coming up, and I would just really love to talk wrestling with Jason Jones.
We exhausted our wrestling time.
I think we've kind of wore that out. We'll talk about a variety of different things, but we'll start with his guy, JaVale McGee.
I shouldn't say that no more.
Being the newest member of the Sacramento Kings. So we'll talk to Jason Jones when D'Lo and Casey return here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
I would say like this, Jesse. I'd be like, fine, don't play. Don't get paid. You heard of the franchise tag? You're under contract for, what is it, this year and next year? You're not a free agent after this year, is he?
I'd have to double check.
Go ahead.
Well, he's played 4 years, right? This is the fifth.
4 year.
Yeah,
It'd
have to be.
So he'd be a free agent?
I would think so.
All right.
So you willing to lose games over this? That's what it comes down to. Like, I get the GM and I get offering him whatever, but are you willing to lose games over $3 million?
How many games are you going to lose?
As many as he's out, maybe. I think they're losing to Pittsburgh if he don't play.
I don't think that has nothing to do with nothing. Because if he's not playing, that ain't got nothing to do with Brock Purdy playing well or not.
I'm just saying, because he makes that defensive line go work too.
And I would say you make him go to work in the playoffs. Where the hell were you when you needed the guy that you want more money than? He brought the chip home. I saw him single-handedly from a tougher position, to be honest with you, the interior line. I saw him take the NFC Championship game in the palm of his hands and say, I'm taking this team to the championship.
Coach.
And then in the Super Bowl, he did the same thing.
John, I didn't get a chance to affect the game. Tyler Kroft didn't block Hassan Reddick. Brock Purdy was out. That's not my fault.
What happened when we played the Rams?
It was 3
Where
years
were
ago.
you at there? We had a 10-point lead. I need you, best defensive player in the game, to make sure that we bring it home. Instead, you let Stafford and Kupp and all these other guys march down the field 3 times so we can lose that game.
You can tell him that, but it's not going to work well for the 49ers. That's the thing.
That's why I don't want to get in negotiations, because I don't want to bring up that stuff. I don't want to bring it up, Nick, but you're making me do it. Just take this money that is big time money and let's get this thing started.
Nope.
Yeah. And actually, if we want to go a step further, you did it to me twice, Nick Bosa, because we had another 10-point lead in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You couldn't bring it home for me. Aaron Donald brings it home.
You know what, Casey or John Lynch, I hear you. I want to trade.
Yeah. Well, you're not getting traded. What are you going to do next? Not play? Not get paid? That's what you're going to do? You're going to make me pull out all these strings.
See, but that's how John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan get fired, though. You need this guy here. You can't go however many games without him. You need him there.
I'm going to be Paul Westhead.
Well, he got fired. He got fired. That dude is so annoying on the show. I hate him.
Everybody's telling him, yo, you're doing this wrong.
That was wrong.
I don't care.
That was wrong with Star. Yeah, he wants the chicken. I would have grounded it right there.
Oh, not enough is being made about her bad ass. Disrespectful ass. I'm paying for this school that you're going to, and this is how you're going to talk to me? Oh.
Basically tell him, hey, idiot, you know you're going to get fired, right?
And then he comes to the office, and they're like, hey, Paul, how you doing, man? Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah.
Ignore the whiteboard with all the coaches' names on it.
And Jerry West kind of picks. Oh, what's up, Paul?
Jerry West.
Jerry West is a dick.
Jerry West. I love that guy on that show.
He's by far the best character in
I
season 2.
love him. That is hilarious, man. Hilarious.
Jerry wants you to coach the team. Oh, hell no.
And then when he coaches, he's 2-10.
Riles told him to shut the hell up.
Oh man, that's my favorite character. You know what I watched a good chunk of this week. Sorry, I planned to watch The Office, but it didn't happen.
Sure.
I watched a good chunk of Tommy, the first season.
Oh, okay.
I'm in.
Okay.
I like Tommy.
Very
That's my
good.
guy.
I told you had to,
Yeah.
Get through some of the.
Yeah. I tried to get it so I could watch the first episode this week, but it didn't happen. So maybe I'll finish.
I was trying to get caught up on The Chi. Like I'm
I know,
way behind
I'm like
on The
3-4 seasons behind.
Same.
I really like the first season too.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's a really good series. Really good series. Well, that was something. Shout out. I can just hear it now. We almost got the rights for the Sacramento Kings, but they tuned into a show one day and you guys were arguing about the Ultimate Warrior and Cesaro. Jesse seemed to have a really, really built up hatred towards Cesaro, and they just thought, well,
how about this?
We'd rather be somewhere where no one's listening.
Let me tell you how CM Punk is just like Mitch Richmond. No, I'm not gonna do that. You know Mitch is my boy. I ain't gonna do that. Mitch is my boy. I wish they'd get along. I wish they'd figure out a way to, fix things. We need Mitch here more.
Why CM Punk is just like Mitch Richmond. There's a line that you have to work the Rock in here somehow, but I'm not witty enough to do it. Like
Marcus
I can't.
Is the Rock?
Well, Mitch is the Rock, isn't he?
I feel like DeMarcus is CM Punk. Easy.
Excuse me, what?
DeMarcus Cousins is CM Punk.
Okay.
Not as far as like.
No, it's fine.
No, you've already gone too far.
I'm not calling DeMarcus overrated, first of all, okay?
Well-
Because I don't think CM Punk is overrated. So don't do that to me. I'm just saying. There's always attitude problems and stuff like that you guys talk about.
Oh, wait a minute. That reminds me. We finished off talking about Nick Bosa. You said there was something going on because what did Jesse say? Just said the Niners are in the wrong.
Yeah, I said there's one party in the wrong in this whole negotiation thing. It's the 49ers.
Why isn't it Nick Bosa? They're giving him $31 million a year.
Because Nick Bosa is doing what every player in the NFL has ever done, and their agent. He's no different than what Aaron Donald was, however long when he got his contract. You're supposed to ask for the most money, and he's good enough to where you can make him the highest paid player in the NFL as far as defensively.
I don't disagree with that, nor do I disagree with you. My concern is we're now days before the start of the NFL season,
And
it's not done yet. Like, so like there's some point of we're past what you just said, Jesse, and we're past what you said, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
There's a legitimate hang up here.
Mm-hmm.
More than I want this. There's something that I'm assuming it was the San Francisco 49ers didn't tell Ian Rappaport. And that's where we're off. Because again, we're days before the start of the NFL season.
Well,
like we're entering, like if this thing isn't done tonight or tomorrow, like Nick Bosa is probably not playing Sunday.
No, I don't think he's playing Sunday at all, to be honest with you. But I think the hang up from the report that I saw from Ian Rappaport, it's a matter of principle at this point, which is, to me, is ridiculous. He believes he's the best defensive player in the league, and he wants to be paid like the best defensive player in the league. He wants the most money annually, I guess, of any player in the league. And it doesn't matter if you're close to that. Non-quarterback, excuse me. It doesn't matter if you're close to that. If you're not going over what Aaron Donald's making, we're not signing. It's the principality of the situation, Smokey. And that is ridiculous to me.
It's just for me, if I'm the 49ers, I'm not going into a season where Nick Bosa isn't playing. If it's over like $3 million or whatever. If it was like something like how you said with Chris Jones, like he wants $8 more million, so like that's one thing. But I'm not risking some losses or whatever of $3 million.
Let's bring in our man Jason Jones of The Athletic. Jay, you following this stuff with Nick Bosa and the 49ers at all?
Yeah, I was wondering if Nick went to the Beyonce concert or not.
Well,
you think he peeped out Beyonce, or
I don't think that he did. It's just my guess. I don't think that he did.
Not his bag. Not his bag.
No.
I didn't think so. I didn't see him at like Kendrick Lamar, Golden One either. I just don't think we're going to run into the same.
He'll be live streaming that new show that's about to drop in Georgia, though. I bet he'll be all right. All right, come on, man. Let's stop it. Stop it. Come on, man. All right, everybody, grow up. You got a show to do here, and I'm resisting.
He won't be at the Eminem show either. I don't know.
Hey,
with the Kid Rock show.
I can't.
He's got front row seats for Kid Rock.
Go get a quarterback.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I said JaVale McGee was going to be the first thing I asked Jason. I
have to sports.
No.
Mr. Bosa should want the biggest contract. He should. I mean, that's the way the NFL works. He's next in line.
Is he worth it? Is he worth an Aaron Donald? So the issue, Jay, I think right now is TJ Watt tops the position group at about $28 million annually. Aaron Donald tops the non-quarterbacks at about 31.6 annually. And the belief is Nick Bosa wants to get above the Aaron Donald number, which would put him substantially above the position group number that TJ Watt has.
Yeah, and I don't think he's Aaron Donald. I think Aaron Donald's the best three technique in NFL history. I don't think he's the best defensive end in NFL history, but we know how contracts work. It's not about where you rank all time or even where you rank as a player currently. It's about when you get your contract.
Justin Herbert's not the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
No, but real quick, Jay, that's the point. The contracts don't work as in I'm the best defensive lineman or I'm the best cornerback, but pay me like you do an edge rusher. No, when your contract is up, you're paid as the highest paid cornerback in the league. They're paying him like the highest paid edge rusher in the league, but that's not good enough, or they're planning to pay him that way.
I mean, yeah, they're going to be at for me, it's hard to go above Aaron Donald. And I understand the Niners not wanting to go above Aaron Donald. But I mean, I've even when I covered the league, people have told me for years, if you want to make it work, you can make it work some way or another. It's going to be like he's going to have to maybe give a little and vice versa. But as much as I like that Niners defense, without Bosa, it ain't nearly as scary. I think Bosa is probably is the best edge rusher in the game. I mean, he's a game plan destroyer, and you've got to commit two guys to him every play. I think, especially in the passing game, good luck blocking him with a tight end. You got he changes the game, and I think if you don't have him on the field, it's still a damn good defense. And that's not act like if he's not playing that they're going to all of a sudden be 30th, but. If you're talking about wanting to be a Super Bowl caliber team, you want to win a championship, you need Nick Bosa on the field. Not yet. This is Nick, not Joey. Nick, yeah. You need him on the field. That's
probably a point that we haven't stressed enough. This is about winning a Super Bowl. That's what this is about. And I can't Javon Hargrave, that was the biggest acquisition this offseason, right?
One of, for sure. I mean,
because it feels
probably maybe the biggest.
Yeah, that feels like it was done to be in tandem with Nick Bosa and not without Nick Bosa. Because we talked about this with Eric Armstead before, and like what happened to Eric Armstead the year that Nick Bosa was out, and how that it took him like 10 weeks to get acclimated with Nick Bosa out because of the increased attention he got. You're minimizing this offseason pickup, in my opinion. You're minimizing this offseason pickup if Nick Bosa isn't around. Because now all of a sudden you've got teams, we we don't have to worry about over here anymore.
Right.
We can focus all our attention. We got Fred Warner, Eric Armstead, Javon Harker. Oh, we can handle that.
Right.
It's when you throw in, this other element that's one of, if not the best at what he does, that takes this thing from, and Jay used the example of they're not 30th. Maybe they're 10th. Maybe they're a top 10 defense without Nick Bosa. But they have the potential to be like 1 or 2 with Nick Bosa.
Right.
You know who's going to be really mad if he's not there? Those cornerbacks.
Mm-hmm.
You know how the passing game changes when we got to worry about 97. You got to worry about Bosa, Armstead, all those guys together is different. It's just a difference, and then if you're offensively, if you're not worried about Bosa, you can send that tight end out on a route maybe in a situation where you wouldn't, because you don't, or you don't have to worry about chipping that guy before you go. It changes so much.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the number is, but yeah, it's crazy that it got to this point that, it's week 1 coming up and you pretty much get to assume he's not going to, at this rate, do you have him week 2? I mean, who knows? I mean, it's Tuesday and I've seen, I'm assuming if they get a deal done, he'll be in shape. But even then, to go from working out on your own to, okay, now go against NFL offensive linemen, it's a different ball game. But I think if the Niners want to win a Super Bowl, you want to keep, number 97 happy.
I would give him what he's asking, but I understand the argument for paying him as clearly the highest edge rusher in the game. I
see both sides. I see why he's asking for what he's asking for, but I also see why the Niners are like, no. I mean, like I said, to me, Aaron Donald is a once in a lifetime player. And as good as Bosa is, he's not Aaron Donald. And that's not a slight to Bosa as a player. It's just, like I said, I think Aaron Donald's the best 3 technique in NFL history.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how this unfolds moving forward with the season set to start here shortly. We can get back to the NFL, get Jay's, I'm sure, less than stellar thoughts on his Las Vegas Raiders coming up here. But since we've seen you last, your boy, JaVale McGee, is officially a member of the Sacramento Kings.
Dreams do come true.
How quickly did you call the Athletic, and how willing were they to put you back on the Kings beat? No pun intended.
We're in negotiations. I've received several calls from several outlets asking me about my availability to cover JaVale McGee and JaVale McGee alone. I don't care about the rest of the team.
Brian Windhorst and JaVale McGee.
I want to hang out with JaVale. Now, like I said, I'm Meek Mill. Dream time. Dreams do come true.
I don't think this is.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
You ready?
How come this couldn't happen 5, 6, 7 years ago? Instead of drafting Willie Cauley-Stein, you could have just traded for JaVale and made my day.
No. Could have made Jason happy. Hashtag Jason Jones. Make Jason
Everyone's
Jones
talking
happy.
about they should have drafted Luka. No, this is the move they should have made a long time ago. This is the move. And
What they have when he went to Brian Windhorst had the Heat Index. Is that what called the JaVale Index?
I just hang with JaVale, man. I wouldn't care if the Kings went 0-82. I'm hanging with JaVale.
Well, we're not doing that.
No.
JaVale McGee is going to lead the Kings to a championship. That's what he's going to do.
3-time champion.
There is a buddy of mine who works in the league who talked to me about this, and he said something. I thought he kind of jumped out the window a little bit, but he said he thinks JaVale might help this team get into the top half of the league defensively, with his shot blocking ability, his rebounding, just his presence around the basket. He said it's like perfect for what they need. They can't honestly play Sabonis and him at the same time. But my guy was like really high on the deal on getting JaVale with the Kings. What you think about it?
That's the thing. I don't know if Sabonis and him are both playing the 5. I don't know how many minutes JaVale gets to have that great of an impact, so to speak, in terms of boosting him. Now, I think what's going to boost them to the top half of defensively is better perimeter defense. Because it doesn't matter who you put back there. If you're letting guys just drive to the lane, all you're going to do is get JaVale or whoever's back there in foul trouble. So I think it's going to really come down to the perimeter guys. But it helps to have a guy back there who can block shots. And then offensively in the pick and roll, you can throw the lob up there to him. I think he has a chance to help him. I just think I don't know if he's going to play the number of minutes to where you'll be like, wow, he's really going to tilt things that way. But I think he's definitely going to have a chance to help them and give them something they haven't had in a long time.
I think that was we kind of had our fun with the JaVale McGee thing, as if it was like silly and wouldn't it be great? The crux of the whole thing with JaVale McGee is once you get it works. It makes complete sense. JaVale McGee was a guy we were talking about last year at the trade deadline when people were talking about, fixing that backup 5 spot. And JaVale McGee was one of those names that not as often as Mason Plumlee came up, but he was a name that came up all of the time. And that was the fun part about the news from the Dallas Mavericks is it was like, okay, we have our fun here. This actually makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I think it definitely makes sense. It's not one of those, why in the world are you doing this type moves?
Right.
It makes sense. I mean, JaVale can get up and down the court. I think it makes sense. And, and like I said, this may be the first Kings jersey I buy.
I love it.
I may have to rock the JaVale McGee just because, like I said, I've been, ever since that day he took off from the free throw line, I'm like, that's my guy right there. He does not. I'm like, F the world. I like that type of attitude,
At least he tried.
You got to respect that.
Yeah. Do you? We talked about the battle for backup big, kind of changing after this. Do you think he goes into camp as clearly the best backup big when you talk about JaVale, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel, and Neemias Queta?
I don't know. I think so, but I also just think in terms of versatility, what do you want to do? I mean, can Nerlens play next to Sabonis? I think it's I think it's a matter of flexibility. Just kind of what are you looking for versus which opponent. I think it gives them an option they haven't had, more athletic 7-footer out there. So when you're playing, you're playing against a guy like a Jokic or a Davis who can go out and space the floor, get away from the basket. I like his chances out there better than Alex Len's being, 20 feet from the basket. So I think it gives you some different options. I think I could really see a scenario where Mike just kind of says, you know what, who gets these minutes after Sabonis might really depend on the opponent. But I think when you talk about having JaVale and Nerlens and Alex, I think if you're looking at what the Kings are going to do, you're hoping it's not one of those draw a name out of the hat. You should be able to go into a game and going, you know what, this is a JaVale night. Or go into a game and say, okay, you know what, they're playing a small team. This might be a night where, you go to Nerlens more. They got a lot more flexibility. I think what happened last season was you just didn't have any stability. What was going to happen or who you were going to go to. And some nights it looked like, okay, this is the guy. And then we're trying with this guy and that guy. I just think, if you're the Kings, you want to go in with a plan and knowing that, hey, I don't have to kind of go, okay, well, let me give JaVale a try for 3-4 games and see how it works. You want to know what you're going to do. And I think JaVale gives them a chance to help solidify that because I think he fits style-wise. And I still think there's a place for the other guys, at least a guy like Alex and a guy like Nerlens. There's a place for him still. But I just think you got to at least go into the season with a plan. This is going to be the guy. You can't go into the season going, okay, we got 1 through 6, and then we're just going to, we see what happens when that, you can't get any continuity. So I think JaVale gives them a chance at continuity.
Still a place for Neemias Queta? Because I don't think you mentioned him.
I don't see where. I mean, there's only so many minutes. And it's not like the Kings or a team are going to play 2 bigs together. You're not going to see a twin tower situation. I just don't know where the minutes are going to come.
Yeah, if you do, one of them ain't going to be Queta, though.
Yeah, I just don't know where the minutes come in. And that's where I know it sucks, especially when, if you're a fan and you've seen this guy for, 2-3 years and you want to see him get a chance. But when the Kings shifted from perennial lottery team to, hey, we're trying to win playoff games, guys like Keita get lost because now you don't have that time to sit around and say, you know what, we got to give what someone like Keita needs is to know he's going to get, I don't know, 12 to 15 minutes a night.
Yeah.
To develop. And there's really no, if you're trying to, stay in the top 4 in the West, can you afford to do that and also develop? I mean, is it impossible? No, but if that was the plan, you wouldn't go out and get a Nerlens Noel and a JaVale McGee if the plan was to do that with Keita.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sorry, Nemi.
I agree. Yeah, man. I'm just saying it's a tough situation, but they got a guy that's kind of better.
Yeah,
for what
Jay
they're trying
talked
to do.
about fans hoping like you want to see Keita get an opportunity. I feel like he's maybe not necessarily during the season.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the way his summer started,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm someone who was really and still is really really intrigued by Neemias Queta. But like Jay talked about, the priorities of this team has shifted. Like you've got to win basketball games now, and that probably comes with guys like JaVale McGee playing at that position, or perhaps Alex Len or Nerlens Noel or whoever. But that'll be a lot of people joked about this, James Ham included. This is going to be a fascinating training camp because all of those guys aren't making the roster.
Right.
Which ones are will be interesting to see.
And you have to look at the contracts. I haven't dove in that. Who's got guaranteed money, all that type of stuff, and figure because this is not the 1980s NBA. You don't need like 5-6 centers.
Yeah, I think they're all getting like several $100,000 to show up at camp, and then everything after that is roster bonuses, day ofs, opening day, different things like that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be fascinating to figure out how, but I don't think JaVale signs with the Kings under the idea that, JaVale, if you really show us something, you just might make the team.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you feel like what is your honest assessment of this team right now, of this Kings team? They finished third last year with 48 wins.
48.
What given the offseason in which they pretty much kind of stood pat with the additions of JaVale McGee and Sasha Vezenkov, like what is your assessment of this team when you think about how they'll match up against Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors, whoever?
My biggest concern with them is like this, the front court physicality. Just do you have enough to deal with those teams that are going to try to come in and bully you? You saw what the Warriors did, where they pretty much told Kevon Looney, "Hey, you go out there and you just go out there and you rough him up." Make this. Do you have enough to deal with those type of guys? When the teams you mentioned, and Anthony Davis, Jokic. I think Phoenix is a little bit. They have Ayton, but he's not going to be the focal point that you worry about per se. But to me, it's just that's that front court size. If teams go big at the 4 and 5, do you have the size to rebound and defend at those spots? And also just overall the defense. So I could see them still winning 48 games next season, but it's a season by season thing. 48 games might get you in 6 next year. We don't know. A lot of it's going to depend on, can Phoenix figure out who's going to play point guard? Can the Lakers stay healthy? It's what the Lakers showed from February on, who they'll be all of next season. Who plays for the Clippers next season? What are the Warriors doing with, to me, the Warriors got smaller and older. So, there's so many they should have went to me around the same number of games. I just don't know where that puts them in the West, just because pretty much everything broke the way it had to for them, especially in terms of health for them. I mean, they played a better brand of basketball. They won more games and they stayed healthy. So they didn't have to really test. I mean, I think Sabonis playing through that injury saved their season. I think if Sabonis sits, they're barely a play-in team maybe. So I just think it's just going to be a weird season because who knows who's going to be where. Like I said, I could see them. I mean, they could win 45, 48, 50 games and then be hosting a play-in game, which would not be, to me, which would not be an indication they had a bad season. It would be more that the rest of the West got healthy. I mean, Anthony Edwards is going to be a problem. I don't know what they're going to do with all those bigs in Minnesota, but Ant is going to be a problem. And he's going to get them around 500 just probably on his own. So, I mean, you think, I don't know if I'm not all in on, say, a Utah, but Utah is not going to be a slouch. So there's a lot going on. I think the West is going to be a lot more competitive. So if they can shore up if they can get better defensively, they can, to me, still be a top 4 team in the West.
Do you feel like they did enough to address the issues with the big men by adding a JaVale McGee or somebody like that, or were you looking for something more like maybe a starter, that would help address that? Do you think they did enough?
I think given their cap situation, you weren't going to go out there and splurge on a guy to try to, quote, fix everything. And I think they were going to have to rely on a lot of internal improvement. They're going to have to rely on guys getting better in those areas and trying to get some depth behind those guys. I don't know if there was going to be a fix out there they could have went out there and got just signing a guy, because I mean, if you went with that route with the cap space, that means you're letting Harrison and some other guys walk. So if you're doing that, who are you going to plug in? I just didn't see like a Paul George type wing guy out there. They could have just went out there and got. So to me, it was always going to be about make some smart, prudent moves. Don't tie up your money with a bad contract. Don't tie it up. Don't just give a guy a max because you have max money available. And you see what happens when teams do that. You get trapped by the cap, and then all of a sudden you're wondering why I've got this guy here who's not really helping me, but I'm paying him $40 million. You don't want to be in that situation. So I think they did the right thing. Actually, I think you bank on some internal improvement. You think you see what you got. You assume Keegan. People forget Keegan was the 4th overall pick. So that's a pretty significant level of talent that you've got on the front court that should get better next season with a season under his belt. You bank on, maybe some guys, some younger guys, or I always think of De'Aaron as a younger guy, even though he's been in the league, it feels like forever. De'Aaron. I think De'Aaron's going to be so much better from that playoff experience. I really do. I really think. I think that really did something for him that you really can't quantify yet. But I think him experience and playoff level, this intensity. I think there's sometimes a guy has to see how to defend at that level, that time of year, in order to carry it over into the next season. I think your big jump is going to come from a guy like that who, we all talked about De'Aaron having potential to be an all-league defender. I think I would not be shocked to see him take that next step to where they're like, oh man, we got to worry about De'Aaron bringing the ball up at 20 whatever miles per hour, and then he's a ball hawk. Now he's all over us pressuring the ball, and De'Aaron having the confidence to know that, hey, if I do get winded, we got another guy behind me with Davion who's going to be just as much of a nuisance. So I see the improvement coming that way.
We always use the Ja Morant example where Ja had a really good season. Then he had a phenomenal playoffs. And the question would be, could Ja carry that over into the regular season like you just suggested De'Aaron would do? And he did. Like it's that playoff series catapulted him into, the superstar that he is, all nonsense aside. He's a hell of a ball player. That's, I think, what all of us are hoping that De'Aaron does, because obviously it was really, really special, as you noted, Jay, in that series against the Golden State Warriors. If it becomes one of those pick up where he left off things, man, De'Aaron is a top-tier player in the league.
Yeah, I know for years, depending on what coach you talk to, all of them would always say, if these guys could just get a taste of it, just see what it feels like to play beyond tax day, it would do so much for this franchise. So now that it's happened, let's see what let's see if they do that versus the whole, hey, we did it, everyone patted us on the back for ending the streak, and then we fall backwards, and then all of a sudden there's chaos. So I'm not expecting that, but you always got to be wary, because we've seen teams do that where they finally, break through and then things go crazy the next year or so.
Yeah, and you're not talking about Sacramento. You're talking about teams like we saw in New York. We saw the Knicks made the playoffs, didn't make them the next year. Atlanta went to the conference finals, probably the worst thing that ever happened to them. They thought they belonged there.
Oh man, they went to the conference finals and lost their mind. Like, oh yeah, this is what we do. It's like it's actually not what you do.
I'm sorry. Was that the birth of the regular season? Is boring.
It's just hard to get up for the regular season. It's just boring.
Trey, sit your ass down.
It's like, come on, man. You ain't done enough to be able to pull the I'm bored. Like you guys weren't like a top 2 seed when you got there. Like, come on, let's be real.
If De'Aaron says we're bored a week into the season next year, we're screwed.
I'm ringing it.
It's over.
Ringing the alarm.
If De'Aaron shows up at training camp, like, you know what? Can we just get to April?
We're cooked. We're absolutely cooked.
Hey Jay, man, we got to talk to you about this while you're here, man. What's your thoughts on Coach Prime and the Culture's new team, the Colorado Buffaloes?
This is kind of funny to me because I remember when they were hot back in the day, like Michael Westbrook, Cordell Stewart. Like, so this is just, I think it's fascinating to me because I think now we've gotten to the overreaction in the other direction to where now it's like, how dare anyone question Colorado? They can get to the and look at their schedule. I only see 2 losses. I'm like, chill, y'all, chill. I'm like, chill. But I mean, they've now become, I think a lot of folks have now adopted them as their team. And the fact he brought back the Dion Nikes, to me, it's worth it because those shoes are back. If those shoes are going to be back, it's worth it. And I get a kick. I mean, I was like, what's that L on his jersey? Leaders and dogs instead of captains.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love that.
Yeah, he's tapped into these young guys in a way to where you knew they were going to have playmakers. You knew that you're going to have guys who are going to, go there because he would have playmakers. So I think it's going to be fun to watch because I think every week with Dion and that team, or am I supposed to call him Coach Primer? He'll get mad at me. I forget. Yeah. But I think week to week, people are going to either be way too happy or way too mad. When the fact is, Colorado won 1 game last year. They beat my Bears in one of those low points.
Well, you guys won week 1, beat North Texas.
Big ups that mighty
high school team.
Well,
they're a powerhouse in whatever conference they play in. I don't know. Hey, the way the last couple of seasons have gone, I didn't know what was going to happen in North. I'm like, maybe North Texas got game, and then
they're a powerhouse in that Texas High School Federation they play.
Hey, we ain't the only ones. Hey, you saw Oregon, wore out the mascots, on the push-up.
That was cold.
Some of these games, poor Arkansas State, I'm like, man, hope they got paid well for that because I don't know what to do with that game film.
Did you guys see that stat that the Pac-12 went undefeated in the first week for the first time since like 1932?
It's like 3 teams.
They're still in the Pac-12 right
now. The real Pac-12 teams went undefeated.
This year. Yeah.
So they disbanded the conference, and this is the first time they all start the season the way they did.
I am now aligned with the ACC, and I am rooting heavily against all the 3 teams that voted against Cal. So I was happy to see Dabo. God loves. God loves me. Sweeney get his
marvelous.
And here's the thing: my boy Sean Cunningham knows I've been anti-Duke and pro North Carolina since I was growing up. But North Carolina hated on Cal hard. Like their soccer coach went on this whole diatribe about how he hopes Cal and Stanford fall apart. So now I got to roll with Duke. I got to roll with Duke. I got to be anti-North Carolina.
Okay.
I got to be anti-Clemson. And what was the other traitor who was trying? In Florida State. Yeah.
Oh,
I got to be anti against them now.
They're going to be leaving soon. Anyway.
And that it kills me because now I got to actually be nice to Notre Dame too because they had Cal and Stanford's back. So
you can ride with Duke. You got friends at Duke. You can ride with them.
All good.
Yeah, I got friends at Duke. Yeah, I like Coach K. He's cool with me.
The real Coach K.
Yeah, I like the other Coach K. I'm still torn up about the Pac-12 just dying the way it is. But I will say, and I'm thinking more basketball than anything, it is going to be cool to see North Carolina and Duke come out to the West Coast every year or every other year or something like that
Yeah.
and play basketball. That would be pretty dope.
Yeah, it's gonna be a different thing. I don't know how any of this stuff is gonna work.
I have
I
no idea.
mean, I'm just waiting for my USC people to complain when they get scheduled to play at Happy Valley in November and lose. Talk about how unfair this is, or like Ohio State has to, go to LA, late in the year. Then the travel was too much, or But I'm really looking forward to like those UCLA Indiana games.
Oh,
As you saw on TV tonight, UCLA really does pack them in at the Rose Bowl to begin with.
oh,
So when they're hosting, Rutgers in a battle of the Big Ten, can they at least change the names of the conferences?
Yeah, we got to fix this.
Rutgers.
Can we
Yeah,
stop
we
calling
gotta
the
fix
Big
this.
Ten and the Big 12? They've got like 16, 18, 20 teams.
Oh, Clemson getting their ass kicked was so
That was
so
beautiful.
wonderful.
Mr.
Oh, that
Dabo,
was so
we're going to pay these players. I don't know if I can do this. Man, shut up.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for those players that you got there and won those games for you, no one would even care who you are. Now you're mad because they getting some money. I mean,
Hey,
I think Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun, whoever was there before him, all would have earned their money that Dabo gladly collected and told those guys to believe in God.
Hey, Coach Prime is going to be playing for a national championship in 2 years. You heard it here first.
Before we let you go, is CM Punk the most overrated wrestler ever?
Yes.
Well, that's leading the witness. Did you let the man answer?
Just say objection, and then it'll be stricken from the record, but it'll still be out there.
I don't know. I got to think about that because part of me wants to say Hogan, but Hogan has a bigger impact.
Hogan had a much bigger impact.
He had a bigger impact, and I don't know the thing. I'm a big CM Punk fan. I always have been a fan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I just think it's that whole AEW, like all the talent are the vice presidents. I just think it's a weird setup.
It is kind of a weird setup when you're a talent and a vice president, and you can just leave and go to the competitor.
Yeah,
like Cody was the vice president. He was just like, I'm out.
Or the talent can say, "Hey, I want to meet with the I want to meet with the vice president." No, I don't want to meet with you, but I'll post a video making fun of you getting fired.
Well,
and we'll do victory laps because you're gone. I'm like, I mean, you guys might want to consider the fact that a lot of folks didn't care about your company till he showed up. So I mean, let's not act. I mean, his shirt was selling out. I mean, I'm a pretty big wrestling fan. I've never seen a person wear a Kenny Omega or a Young Buck shirt.
Well,
I ain't never seen the Young Bucks out in the street.
We
Overrated.
We'll end it there. We'll